I saw it as a different model from what I'm used to. So your land is appreciating in value. You are not ready to build there. At the same time, the trees are giving you passive income for as long as you want. It has been established that some palm trees can fruit for 40 years. In fact, some can fruit for 70 years. That's speaking of lifetime investment.
Whatever we are doing, the reality of this is that this is one of the most sustainable businesses that anyone can invest in. It is self-sustaining.
What guiding principles shape your investment decisions?
Majorly, the credibility of where I'm investing. Number two, the model of what I am investing in. Okay, not just the credibility. They have a lot of fantastic companies, but their model is flawed. All right. So those are two things that I consider before I make my investment decision.
One thing I consider when making any investment is sustainability. Investment or wealth building is not about quick returns, right? The returns can be quick and big and so enticing, but it may not be sustainable. So wealth is built through long-term sustainable returns. In the next 10 years, can these returns still be coming in? In the next 15 years, can my children, grandchildren still partake of them? So for me, that is paramount.
When you have a better awareness, you can make a good choice and have a better result.
Palmrich merges agriculture and real estate in a way that is quite innovative. What convinced you that this model was a value addition to your portfolio?
But with this model, it's very, very difficult for any community to come and take over a land that has some trees, especially economic trees on there, that is active.
Wealth is long term. There is no get rich quick scheme when it comes to wealth. It's something that you have built gradually. And if I have to wait 3 years for something I will be feeding for 35 years, for 40 years, then my 3 years wait is worth it.
Investing with Palm Asset Rise and specifically the Palmrich model has been rewarded.
The model sold by Asset Rise is different from other forms that I lost. Why? They give you the right to have access to your investment. It is your land. Oil palm trees, whatever happens, if there's fire, it still grows back after some time. So it's much better a model than some other forms of agri investment.
The investment is real, it's not fiction. I can decide to take my family, my mat, and go to the location and do picnic on my land. It's mine.
Having owned the largest stake in our Palmrich Estate, what does sustainability mean to you in relation to your retirement plan and expectations from Asset Rise Limited?
Anybody in life, you begin to plan for retirement when you start work. How do you make it sustainable? You have to keep up to speed with what is happening where your money is. You should know when to go out before everything crumbles. But so far, so good with Asset Rise. A steady rise that's been sustained.
I've learned the people on the board, they are people of integrity. I took my time to go through who they are and the people they are collaborating with. And I saw the essence is not just making money, but sustainability, generational wealth. So that is the impact that they're making, and that is why I'm in this team. It is very historical to say that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And that has been the journey and the story that I'm going to narrate to you now on how we have been able to convert history and legacy to a business empire that is spanning in multi-billion today. So the Palmrich Estate project, which is the oil palm tree farming project, started from a very humble beginning, but not just the humility of the beginning, but the uniqueness of my story. My father died when I was 14 years old, and he left us with no options but grappling for how to go to school, and a lot of options were ringing in our minds. But we celebrate his legacy today because all he left behind for us was hectares of oil palm tree farm, and that sustained the family to any length of lifestyle that we could afford, including going to very good schools and never having to beg any uncles and aunties to go to school. But the story would not be unique all on its own without what we have been able to do with the story by connecting that story to our enterprise. And also replicating such to feed thousands of Nigerians, home and abroad, to provide jobs for our teeming youth population, and also to support the government drive for gross-domestic production. And so the story all started from COVID, 2019 and 2020. I was in a village, resting off from the lockdown, and we began to notice that a lot of persons around us were oil palm tree farmers. And we were able to connect to them, having to solve their needs. They need funds to send their children to school while they are going to be harvesting their palm trees over the year. And we were able to aggregate them and speak on their behalf to Zenith Bank, and very helpful bank, who saw a reason with our pitch and then said, oh, we should create a community with them, and they are ready to bank them and also provide them some sort of supports. And so we did that, had their data, and roll out our cards for them, and we started the journey of taking their palm fronds, processing palm oil, or even of taking their palm oil and then giving them resources for the year. So for example, some of them collected money on loan and are able to execute their petty projects while they pay back with palm oil harvest or palm front harvest. And that supported a lot of women in the community. A lot of children were able to go to school just from that initiative. And going down that lane of 2020, we also saw that we were able to connect these people to funding in the city. So we came to the city and created a cooperative, Flap Cooperative, and we narrated the story of the people in the village who need funds, and then we can get oil, save the oil, sell, and give a better profit to the community, to the cooperative. And that was a very good success story from the cooperative. And from the first year to fourth year, and continuing from that, we have never witnessed any loss, because oil is seasonal, and we're able to support these farmers and then also use that as an investment vehicle to our cooperative members. And we moved from that to seeing the potential that if these people supplying us proceeds of their palm fronds and palm oil, how do we continue the business? It has become a very lucrative 100% revenue just from that support mechanism and the transactions that happen from the palm oil. And so we jumped into a partnership with Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC, which is also a local-based oil palm company founded by the government over 40 years ago. We became moribund because of management challenges. So we rented 96 acres of oil palm tree from them in 2020, 2021, and began to harvest palm fronds and process palm oil. Also, this connecting the value to our cooperative, and we're able to, tax ourselves, harvest these palm fronds, process palm oil, and have good revenue and good profit for our cooperators. And in 2021, we saw another challenge that may happen in the future. We said, oh, what if Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC stop renting their farm to us? Because they will see the potential of the business. And then we thought to ourselves, we need to plant our own palm trees. And that drove us to starting the Palmrich Estate project. And our first plantation happened in Ondo State. Then we did about 300 acres in Ondo State. And we moved from Ondo State to Lagos State. Potentially, our idea of moving to Lagos State is understanding that the oil palm tree farm, it's a very, very profitable means of real estate and combining land banking. Buy land with appreciation over the years, and then you can sell in the future. So we acquired some portion in Ekpe and planted our palm trees, which was the first success story in Lagos State. And today, one of the biggest oil palm tree farm in Lagos State. And we built from that record. We saw a business potential in that record, saying that we could also intercrop in the midst of these palm trees rather than leaving the space just to be fallow. And that drove our initiative to planting yams, cassava in between our palm trees. And in 2022, we started the Eco Yams project, intercropping yams in our palm trees. And in 2023, we were able to deliver for the first time in the history of Lagos State 1 million tubers yam farm.
You guys know that I've been speaking a lot about palm oil and its potential. So I'm right here at this wonderful project by Asset Rise called the Palmrich project. So they want to use palm and make you rich. Fantastic idea. So they're trying to infuse palm oil together with real estate, and I like the model. I've been around here, like you can see, and there are some pretty exciting things that are coming out of here. It is profitable for the people that have been able to join in. So if you want to check this out and you feel like this is something that you'll be interested in, you should check their page out. For me, I'll give them a thumbs up. Well, I hope you learned something by looking through this video. I can always say, hey, be good, take care. This is Online Bank Cash.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Now, Nigeria's palm oil industry is a stark testament to the fragility of economic potential. Once a global leader, the country's dominance in palm oil production symbolized its agricultural might and immense prospects. However, over the decades, this once flourishing sector has wilted, turning Nigeria from a leading exporter to a net importer of palm oil. This dramatic decline is not merely a tale of economic loss, but a profound loss of squandered opportunities and systemic failures that can undermine a nation's prospects. One company that is playing its part in boosting the oil palm industry is Acetrise. The aim is to propel Nigeria to the top of the value chain globally and also leverage investments in housing through mortgages. The question is, how do they intend to achieve this? Well, joining us on the show to discuss the company's blueprint on how they intend to boost oil palm plantation and also prefer a solution to the housing deficit through a mortgage plan is Mr. Oluwadurotimi Ojamomoye, Group Managing Director, Acetrise Limited. I'm not sure if Mr. Simon Ogu is joining us.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Simon Ogu, the Chief Operating Officer, AG Mortgage Bank, is also joining us from our studio in Abuja. Good morning to you both, gentlemen.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being here today. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's get straight into it. When we talk palm oil, I know everybody always runs to talk about Indonesia. But we can see that the palm oil industry is receiving a massive boom again here in Nigeria. And we observe that obviously you're playing a crucial role in supporting this industry. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you're leading the charge to boost palm oil production and the value chain in Nigeria again?
Thank you so much. Before we take the credits, let's give it all to NIFO, doing a great work in terms of research in the hybrid production of the palm oil. With the improved breed of the tenera that NIFO has provided to the market, there's a lot of production going on. And this industry, like you said, it's abandoned, but it's our history of sustainability, it's our history of wealth creation. For years, generations have supported themselves by earning from palm oil production. I once knew my father's driver in 2000 era when I was small, and on secondary school. But growing up, this man, he's now a millionaire. He afforded to send his children to school in Canada. He has houses to himself and everything. And all the source of wealth and the revolution in his life came from having hectares of oil palm plantation. And an interesting conversation this morning you're having about going to the market and minimum wage not able to cater for us. The truth is we cannot be a country where we totally depend on either minimum wage or the other. We need to be innovative. We need to create beyond what the government can give us. And that's the challenge with us, coming through agriculture to see how we can support ourselves to earn more income. And that income can solve diverse problems in our lives, from housing to food security to all kind of bills that we can pay. So the palm oil industry is one that is sustainable. You imagine a business that you establish and can take care of you for over 30, 40, 50 years. And we have this testament from organizations like Okumu, Presco that have been in existence for over 40 years and still thriving. So what we have done specially with this is to see how Nigerians can play in this industry at a fractional level. At a lower level, you can start with your one plot, your 1 acre, your 1 hectare, and grow palm oil, palm trees, and earn passive income. And don't forget that these trees will grow on the land, which is a larger component of real estate. And this infusion of real estate and agriculture is the solution to solving a lot of problems. So while you are earning passive income from your oil palm, another byproduce, your land, which is an asset, is also appreciating into the future. And you can have dual appreciation on this portfolio. So that's the solution we have created so far.
Okay, let's come to you, Mr. Ogu. I know that Mr. Ojamomoye here has tried to establish the connection, but we would like to hear from you directly. Yesterday we were discussing, what was that again? Pineapple farming. Today we're talking about palm oil, oil palm plantation. But what is the connection between mortgage, housing, and oil palm plantation? And we're told to solve housing deficit and passive income. You are the person in the area of mortgage. Where is the connection between a farm and housing?
And what's the nature of the partnership between your bank and Mr. Ojamamoye's plantation?
Thank you, Dr. Abati. Thank you so much for having us on this call this morning. Again, Dr. Simon Ogu is my name. Honestly speaking, there's something that is tradition to us in Nigeria and in Africa, and that is agriculture. And sitting very prominently in the heart of agriculture is oil palm plantation. Dr. Abati, you will agree with me that these things even grow naturally in the wild. And it is something that Nigerians don't stress to grow them, particularly in the southeast and south-south, and some part of the middle belt of Nigeria. Virtually 70% of the middle belt states in Nigeria, this oil palm grows naturally, and it's a major source of income. One of the things that beat our hearts whenever we talk about oil palm plantation is the fact that a nation came to us in this country.
Hello guys, hello everyone. My name is Funke Oyafunke. I come all the way from London because I've been hearing about asset rights. I was introduced by somebody that I used to know while I was young, and I was a bit skeptical. I know some of you could be, because especially some of us living in diaspora. So many people have been scammed. So many people have been, they've been exploited. But then when I came in touch with asset rights, I did my own due diligence, finding out who are they, am I sure they're genuine, are they actually registered with the government, and so on and so forth. And that actually brought me down where part of my due diligence, which I will advise everybody to. If you want to come on board, please do your own due diligence. Go to the land registry, go and find out. Oh, I'm interested in doing this. I'm interested in acquiring property from asset rights, but I want to be sure the land belongs to them. Just approach us, and we will just give you some of the coordinates that you take to the land registry for you to verify that place. Yes, as asset rights. Asset rights, I'm so proud to be part of it because I believe in asset rights mission, their dream, and everything that comes with asset rights. You two today, I want to show you the reason why you two can join us and have that rest of mind, knowing what you are into. It's not fake, it's not scam, in any way you look at it. So I came all the way to come and verify for myself, is asset rights real? Is this palm trees that they're talking about, is it real? Am I sure they are there? So I'm here for you guys. Be rest assured. It doesn't matter where you live. London, America, Australia, Japan, Asian countries, Italy, France, anywhere at all. Please be rest assured. Even if you stay in Canada, invest in asset rights. You will never regret it. We do what we say. Imagine a whole 6 plots of land for just 1.8 million. But no, it's not going to be like that forever. It's going to end soon. In fact, as I'm dropping this particular video with you, it's ended. But if you still reach out to me, go onto our line. You can always call. We have dedicated members of staff waiting for you in our offices to receive your call, to receive your inquiries, and they are ready to answer everything, all questions, all that you have in your mind. Join us and let's do this together. Thank you, and I'll see you next in our video.
Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning. Depends on where you're watching me from. My name is Rokibat Olalike, and I'm a legal officer at Asset Right Limited. You all are welcome to today's webinar. It's a second installment of our last webinar, and it's a question and answer session. I'm excited to be here, and as well, I know you are. So we appreciate you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to attend this webinar regarding our Palmrich Agro Real Estate model. You will hear directly from the experts and company executive who will give you first-hand information on this project. Asset Right is a real estate company duly registered with CSC and all relevant authorities to carry out real estate business. We are the pioneers of Palmrich model, a combination of real estate and agriculture, that is land ownership and palm tree farming. Anyone who is concerned with sustainability in the future should have a palm tree plantation, and we are the industry leaders to help you. should you decide to partner with us. So sit back and get so much information and knowledge you can get from this webinar. Once again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I will hand over to my colleague, Chidera Ikechuku, the Head of Business Development at Asset Rights. Is our anchor for tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for that wonderful introduction, Barrister Rokiba. Thank you very much. Let me also say a very big welcome to every single person that has joined currently. I'm sure we're still expecting a lot more persons to join in. Today we're going to go straight to the point. The last webinar was a very insightful one, and we've said that this webinar is to answer a lot of other questions. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone, not just for joining in today, but for your inclusion to make sure you understand the project. We had over 350 questions. 350 questions that were asked, and we are going to make sure that we answer each and every one of those questions today. And, you know, of course, a lot of them were repeated questions, and we're able to sum them up and summarize a lot of them to make sure that every single concern and questions that you have about security, about ownership is answered here today. And I would not just be doing that alone. And last time we had just one person speaking on all of these questions. So today we've decided to bring in experts both in the industry sector, that's the palm plantation industry sector, the Group Managing Director of Asset Rights Limited, as well as a financial investment expert, also to make sure that all your concerns are also very much attended to. So I'll just give a very short rundown on the speakers, the panelists we have today that I'll be throwing our different questions at. So we have Mr. Olakunle Olagunju. Mr. Olakunle Olagunju is a skilled manager with over 16 years expertise in both agriculture and corporate investment. He has vast knowledge in livestock and plantation management, especially in nursery operation, greenhouse establishment, oil palm plantation, tomato and pepper plantation, as well as poultry and a lot of others. He's a specialist in corporate investment, risk management, cash liquidity operation, and he's also very well versed in developing and implementing both daily and long-term strategies aimed at business efficiency and growth. And next panelist we'll be having is Mr. Segun Aderi-Bigbe. Mr. Segun Aderi-Bigbe is a vast investor in the oil palm plantation project, as well as the founder of the financial club called EFI. And the last panelist we'll be having is Mr. Oluwadurotimi Ojamamoye. Mr. Oluwadurotimi Ojamamoye is an alternative investment and risk analyst with deep expertise in guiding investors through Nigeria's challenging economy landscape to build secure and profitable portfolios. With a background in business development strategy and venture capital, he has successfully managed breakthrough projects and helped clients navigate volatile markets. He holds advanced training in business administration from the West London College and brings a unique blend of creativity, innovation, and strategic insight to investment advisory. As the founder of the Forward Thinking Initiative in Agro Real Estate and Alternative Investment, Mr. Rotimi focuses on merging real estate and agriculture to deliver diversified inflation hedge portfolios. His approach not only secures long-term returns, but also contributes to addressing food security and sustainable development in Nigeria. What better combination do you need to make sure that you're making the right choice in terms of investment, especially in the sector of agro real estate, which we'll be speaking on today? So not to waste any more of your time, we're going to go into the questions very shortly. Before then, I'm going to review some of the questions so that for a lot of us who were not available at the last webinar, we understand the direction and the goal of this webinar today. It is, like I said, it's straightforward. We're going to be asking questions and we're going to be answering all of the questions which have been sent in the last time. Also, I love to take questions that were not asked last time. If you have a question that has not been answered, you can drop it in the chat box and our IT team will pick that up and make sure that your questions also are going to be answered. So very, very shortly, before I start reviewing the questions, can we, media, please, can you help us with a very short video? A very, very short video before we go into reviewing some of the questions which have been sent. Then I'll call on the panelists to make sure they're available and we can start answering some of these questions. Thank you very much.
One of the things you should appreciate about this farm is that it is well maintained. When you see trees that are pruned like this, they are ready for maximum production. Right there you see that federal government tried to do something and provide milling automation, and that's the mill. Once again, you're welcome to Palmrich Estate, Phase 5, Ibadan, Oyo State. And this project is simple. It is strategic land ownership plus oil palm tree farming. Oil palm tree farming, long tested and trusted instrument for wealth creation, over 200,000 years. This is not forest, this is not Bitcoin. This is oil palm tree farming. And in partnership with ICROS, we are bringing this live to you from Asset Rise and ICROS. This project will make you a landowner in a strategic place. Your land is appreciating in value over the years, and your land is giving you passive income, either monthly or quarterly or per annum. For more details, please contact the number that is on.
With Palm Asset Rise, and specifically the Palmrich model has been rewarded.
I think I got convinced because I saw it as a different model from what I'm used to. So your land is appreciating in value. You are not ready to build there. At the same time, the trees are giving you passive income for as long as you want. It has been established that some palm trees can fruit for 40 years. In fact, some can fruit for 70 years. That's speaking of lifetime investment.
Whatever we are doing, the reality of this is that this is one of the most sustainable businesses that anyone can invest in. It is self-sustaining.
What guiding principles shape your investment decisions?
Majorly, the credibility of where I'm investing. Number two, the model of what I am investing in. Okay, not just the credibility. They have a lot of fantastic companies, but their model is flawed. All right. So those are two things that I consider before I make my investment decision.
One thing I consider when making an investment is sustainability. Investment or wealth building is not about quick returns, right? The returns can be quick and big and so enticing, but it may not be sustainable. So wealth is built through long-term sustainable returns. In the next 10 years, can these returns still be coming in the next 15 years? Can my children, grandchildren still partake of this? So for me, that is paramount.
When you have a better awareness, you can make a good choice and have a better result.
Palmrich merges agriculture and real estate in a way that is quite innovative. What convinced you that this model was a value addition to your portfolio?
But with this model, it's very, very difficult for any community to come and take over a land that has some trees, especially economic trees on them, that is active.
Wealth is long term. There is no get rich quick scheme when it comes to wealth. It's something that you have built gradually. And if I have to wait 3 years for something that will be feeding you for 35 years, for 40 years, then my 3 years wait is worth it.
Investing with Palm Asset Rise, and specifically the Palmrich model has been rewarded.
The model sold by Asset Rise is different from other firms that I lost. Why? They give you the right to have access to your investment. It is your land. Oil palm trees whatever happens, if there's fire, it still goes back after some time. So it's much better a model than some other forms of agri investment.
The investment is real, it's not fiction. I can decide to take my family, my mat, and go to the location and do picnic on my land. It's mine.
Having owned the largest stake in our Palmrich Estate, what does sustainability mean to you in relations to your retirement plan and expectations from Asset Rise Limited?
Anybody in life, you begin to plan for retirement when you start work. How do you make it sustainable? You have to keep up to speed with what is happening where your money is. You should know when to go out before everything crumbles. But so far, so good with Asset Rise. A steady rise has been sustained.
I've learned the people on the board, they are people of integrity. I took my time to go through who they are and the people they are collaborating with. And I saw the essence is not just making money, but sustainability, generational wealth. So that is the impact that they're making, and that is why I'm in this team.
I think I'm pleasantly happy for what I've seen so far, and I hope it will continue. So I just wanted to raise up my hand and commend the organization, and I wish you guys all the best.
For me, it is very impressive. I'm happy that this is coming from Nigeria. This is commendable. Very happy to be here. Glad that people invited me, and honestly, I've not regretted one transaction or anything I've done with Asset Rise. This is really impressive, and the only thing you can count on me for is I want to subscribe to some other Palmrich, and I'm going to bring people, because so this is commendable, and I just pray that we will keep this on.
You know that this model is one of the best models to run agri. A model of equity. Legality is the bedrock of business and trust. If we come together legally and understand what we are doing, I'm sure we can shape the future of Nigeria. So we appreciate you for your comments. Thank you so much for your comments.
All right. So you just witnessed two very strategic and significant videos. One was in some of the investors' testimonial about investing, why they've invested into a project like Palmrich, and the potential they've seen in the project that guided them in this decision they've made to owning acres and hectares in surplus into the Palmrich project, and also what they have seen so far concerning the project. We also went on to show you videos of one of our payouts from the Palmrich Phase 5 Ibadan, which we've mentioned milling is ongoing around the year, and some landlords have already gotten some returns from the produce from their land. So very, very quickly, I want to introduce Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris will come and just touch very briefly on the Palmrich project, what it's about, and very, very importantly, the community we've created around the Palmrich project called the Palmrich Tribe, which is a community to make sure that there's involvement, and you as the landowners are 100% in control of both your land and all of the activities on it. So if Mr. Chris, if you're available, please, we'd love to have you now. Mr. Chris, are you on?
Yes, good evening. Thank you
very much, sir. Please, you have just 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here today. I just want to talk about the Palmrich Estate or the Palmrich model, so that I know that by the time the panelists come up, a lot of the questions will be answered, so we don't need to repeat those questions. So what is Palmrich? Palmrich simply is land ownership with palm trees farming. Is a model of real estate, agro-real estate, that makes your land transactional. Is a fractional ownership of land where you buy the land, you own the land, you pay for the land, you own the land. Asset Rise plants the trees, nurture the trees for 3 years. That's the species we plant. It takes about 18 to 36 months to fruit. And then after fruiting, you can, on your own, decide to manage it from there, or you decide to outsource it back to Asset Rise or whoever you choose. So it's a simple model. It's an ownership model. We always like to stress that Palmrich is not a debt model. It is equity. It is ownership. You own the land. Someone asked a question last week. Are you sure I'm not leasing the land? Or no, the land belongs to you 100%. When you pay up, we give you all the documents, transferring ownership to you, and also allocate you, take you to the site and allocate you. So that is Palmrich. It is a combination of land with agriculture. Because we believe when we set out the company that owning asset is important in solving issues of finance and then the sustainability in the future. So we came up with this idea, breakthrough innovative product that gives you fractional ownership of the land. You own the land 100%, as I mentioned earlier, and then you earn this income from the 4th year into 30 years, 40 years time, as long as the palm tree produces, it's yours. If that income is yours, we used to say passive income until we are corrected that it's active income. And there's no limit to how much you can scale in this business. It's because it's ownership, it's a generational wealth transfer. A lot of families we hear of today in Lagos and other places, they are so wealthy, they are so renowned. Why? Because their fathers bought the future. With their hard-earned earnings, they bought land and handed over to them, and today they are landlords and landowners in our cities today, especially Lagos and our major metropolitan cities. So that's the idea. So Palmrich, in essence, is also land banking. You are buying land, you are earning from it. So we say that land banking is more profitable with palm trees farming. So you are not just waiting for your land to appreciate. While the land is appreciating, you are earning vital income from it year in, year out, year in, year out. And this income has a propensity, has the probability of increasing with the increase in yield production or the increase in the prices of palm oil. You know palm oil today. And we have democratized the management of this project in a way. We have the board of trustees and we also have the Palmrich tribe. The Palmrich tribe is a community of all the landlords of the Palmrich estates. Whether you own a single plot or you own 50 hectares, you are a member of the Palmrich tribe. And they have been so useful to this project. They have taken this project far and wide, beyond borders, beyond cities, and brought in a lot of people to join us, because beyond the income for you, we are also solving economic issues of unemployment. As little as a plot of land is, if you buy it, somebody will be employed to work on it. So these people have brought in other investors, other landowners who have joined us on this mission of sustainability in the future. So that's the Palmrich tribe. So when you hear the Palmrich tribe, it's not it's a community of all our landlords, and it's a registered cooperative under the Lagos State Government Cooperative Association. So that's the Palmrich tribe. Just in case you have any questions on the model and the tribe, that in essence is the Palmrich tribe. I think I've used up my time. Thank you for listening and thank you for having me. Chidera.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a very insightful one. Now we are very much aware of the Palmrich project and the community around it to make sure that this project is sustainable, there's continuity in the project, and there's enough transparency to take us over the long years that this project will run. So very quickly, thank you very much, Mr. Chris. I really applaud that presentation. So very quickly, I will just run through the questions the way they are, then once again introduce the panelists we would have and how the question and answer section would run. Okay, so for the question and answer sections, it has been divided into 10 categories. So the first category is about the investment. Here we'll be speaking about what the investment entails, how it works, the structure around it, and many more, so that we can understand everything about the investment. Then the second category is starting the investment. For a lot of us who had questions of how do I come into this project? How do I start? Where is the entry point? What's the first step I need to take? At the third step, All of these questions will be answered in the second category. They'll move on to the third, where that talks about the return and profitability. Okay, so for this project and every other investment anyone is making, one of the most important things that you should know about are the returns and profitability that are involved in this project. The fourth category is the ownership and control. So a lot of questions like, is it really my land? Am I leasing the land to do this plantation? All of those questions will be answered in this session. Also, when do I build? Is there going to be a takeover period? All of those questions will be answered here. And the fifth category is safety and security. Here, a lot of questions regarding both human security and the intellectual security when it comes to documentation. All of those questions would be answered in this category. Now, the sixth category we have is diaspora-specific concerns. So for a lot of us in the diaspora that are online today, a lot of your questions about, me that I'm not in Nigeria, how do I track my land? How do I make sure this is going on properly? All of your concerns and questions will be answered in this category. In the seventh category, we have expansion and location. For the questions of when are you coming to this area? Is there a plan to take this project bigger than it currently is? And, where are your locations currently and what are you doing on these locations? All of these questions will be answered in expansion and location. The eighth category is agronomic and technical information. So this pertains to what kind of trees are you planting? What kind of oil palm trees are you planting? What is the yield like from this kind of tree? What is the soil type on type of lands that you're planting? What is the weather condition in these areas and how do they affect the plantation yields? All of these questions also would be answered in this category. So the ninth question will be market and sales. This pertains both to the land and also to the produce from your oil palm plantation. How is it sold? Who are the off-takers? And a lot of other questions pertaining this would be answered in the ninth category. In the 10th category, we have consultants and partnerships. Okay, so this also we mentioned in the last webinar, we have a pool of partners and consultants who work with us to make sure that we can scale this project, to make sure this project is also introduced to you aware of this project. So how do you come in? How can we partner together to achieve even a larger scale of this project? All of this will be answered in the 10th category. For the 11th category, we have over 10 categories here. For the 11th category, operations, monitoring, and tech. Okay, so now we are in an age and in a time where tech has to be integrated into every project to make sure there's automation and to make sure that there's also scaling of the project. And this is answered in this category: operation, monitoring, and tech. So we'll move on to the 12th, which is trust and credibility. Who is AssetRise? What have they done over time? And what differentiates AssetRise from every other kind of agro investment that has come before, or every other agro tech that has, come and not been credible enough? So we'll answer all of those questions in the 12th category. In the 13th category, we move on to additional opportunities. Okay, and that would be the 13th and the last category for today before we can take any other questions that we have in the chat box. So I'll just run through how we're going to be answering the questions very quickly. Each question I ask would have a maximum of 2 minutes to answer each question. I've introduced the panelists. I'll do that once more again. On our panel, we have Mr. Segun Aderibigbe, we have Mr. Olakunle Olagunju, and we have Mr. Oluwadurotimi Ojamamoye. So these are the panelists we have today. I'll be throwing out the questions to them. So I pick a question and I ask our panelists, and I also pick someone out of the panelists to answer the question. However, you have 2 minutes. Our panelists would have 2 minutes to answer each question. Then, if there are other contributions by other panelists, any of the other panelists, they have a maximum of 1 minute to contribute to what already has been said. So, not to waste any more of our time, I would just like to make sure that our panelists are available. Mr. Oluwadurotimi Ojamamoye, Mr. Olakunle Olagunju, and Mr. Segun Aderibigbe. Please, if you're online, we would just love to hear a very short notification that you're online, probably an introduction or a greeting.
Thank you. I'm online. Thank you.
All right. So we have Mr. Oluwadurotimi online.
All right. Good evening. This is Segun here.
Oh, great. We have
Hello,
Mr. Segun. Welcome, Mr. Segun. Welcome, Mr. Segun.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Ma. Good evening, Mrs. Aramide.
I just remembered. I'm really sorry. I'm
No
a new
problem. You're
person
very
in
much
this
welcome.
field.
You're just on time. We're about to kick off. You're just on time. So please just help us mute your mic and listen in for now to all of the questions that have been asked. Thank you very much. Welcome. Do we have Mr. Kunle Olaguju online so we can kick off with the question and answer session? Mr. Olakunle, if you're in, we'd love to hear something from you now. Oh, great. Oh, great. Mr. Kunle is in. Mr. Kunle, can you hear us, please? Can you just notify that you can hear us, please? Okay, we can see you, but we can't hear you. We'd love to hear you. Media, please, can you assist to unmute his mic? All right. All right, Mr. Kunle, while Mr. Kunle fixes his technical issues with the voice, let's kickstart with the questions already. So in the first category, okay, Mr. Kunle, we're still waiting for you. You can just work on that. We'll come to you as soon as you have that fixed. We can see you, but we can't hear you. All right, so let's move on to the questions. The first question I'll be throwing to Mr. Oluwadirotimi Ojamamoye. The first question I'll be throwing to Mr. Rotimi Ojamamoye. The first question is, Mr. Rotimi, if you're in, so we love the model, the Palmrich model, how it came about, how, you know, it is very well structured. Investment is one thing that without proper structure and without proper model, you cannot have sustainability in that. So can you just give us a brief bio on how this project came about, you know, the background of the project itself? How did you even come about oil palm plantations, Mr. Rotimi? And let's kick off from there.
Okay, thank you. I also want to make us have a faster night. Tomorrow is another work day. So I was born into an oil palm family. My father was a palm tree farmer, and he owns hundreds of hectares, acres. He died when I was 14, and that was the greatest inheritance anyone can ever have. When we thought all hope was dead with him, going to school and everything that we could have as a family, then we were told about the large plantation, and that gave us reassurance, because all we need to do to be able to pay tuition, to be able to shelter, to be able to feed, was to mill oil, sell, and then we can take care of the family. And from age 14 till date, well over 2 decades, I have been in the oil palm industry. And my privilege schooling in the UK, I always would think that if this palm tree could feed a family, if this palm tree could sustain a family after the death of maybe the breadwinner, how much more can it sustain more families in Africa? How much more can it create a model that can empower more Africans? So I returned back to Nigeria to see how this model can work, and then we partnered with the Oil Palm PLC, first on the 99 hectares in 2019, and then we had a mill where we produce oil and the rest. And in 2020, during the COVID era, we brought in Zenith Bank to my village in Ondo State to be able to provide financial services to a majority of the oil palm farmers who don't have financial backup to even survive the COVID. And kudos to Zenith Bank. We factioned a very good plan, and almost 300 plus of those farmers were banked. And then we moved from that to Lagos State, where we started with the Ekpe plantation. And we had today in Success Story, the phase 1, 2, 3 in Ekpe already fruiting. And the story goes on and on to Adodo, to Ibadan, to Ewekoro. And what we have today at over 8,000 hectares of oil palm plantation is beyond my story anymore. It's now a national movement for strategic empowerment of people who want to plan a better retirement, a better trust fund for their family, people who want to create enough passive income that can sustain them. People who want to diversify into agriculture, and also a strategic means for climate change, for food security. And this is all our Palmrich story. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Rotimi. So knowing all of this and your in-depth knowledge in the oil palm industry, how were you able to create a model, or what is the model behind the Palmrich project, and how is it sustainable? What is the current project model and the structure behind it, and how is that sustainable?
So number one, let me say to this that we are very, very much concerned about risk. And a lot of Nigerians, my privilege staying abroad made me know that a lot of Nigerians don't trust investing back home. It is always a problem when they put funds back home, even to their families. You send money back home and it's story. So I asked myself, how can we create a model that will be trusted and that everybody can participate in wherever they are in the world? And we started this with a real estate model. We registered a real estate company. We started developing residential properties across, the South. And we brought this real estate model into the agriculture where people can own a unit of land. So today, a lot of people buy land and then you leave it fallow, you travel. If you are not around, that is a big risk because one, you open it up to a moneyless from grabbing it. Number two, nature about vacuum. Whenever this land is left unattended to, a lot of things can happen. And so we thought about how can land be more useful. And then we see that people can own land, which my colleague already spoke about, strategic land ownership, land banking. While you are abroad, while you are anywhere in the world, while you are even working and planning towards 10, 15 years from now to retire, your land, if you are not ready to build on it for rental income, for what other purpose, it can be a strategic land banking, but that land should not be lying fallow. It should be a sort of economic turnaround, and that is what the number one risk aversion is. We plant economic trees on it, there is activity on the land. And you see what we have with the Palmrich Ibadan story. The palms on it secures the land even while you're not here. So we were very much concerned about risk. And then ownership of the land to even getting all the documentation from government and putting structures that even government will be proud and partner with. Today, we have both Lagos State, Ogun State, and other states that we have gone into, we've been to. Their government freely opening doors to us because we are solving a major problem, which is food security. And that is how much flexibility we have been able to bring into thinking risk. And let me also say that as a risk analyst, I did some programs in Harvard University on risk. And I know that if we need to create a model that should avert risk, what we have done currently in Palmrich from the corporate governance by creating a transparent model where we communicate every detail of the project to people. So, for example, if anything would happen, you can defend us and say, oh, these people are transparent. That is one major thing that we have talked about, how to create a transparent model. You can visit your land. You own the land document. You can do your search. You can confirm every detail about the project. We report milling. We report the operations. You own it. You own the land 100%. And you are just bringing us as consultants or as partner to farm on your behalf. So we've thought through every model that can be beneficial to our partners and can also create a lower risk model. And that is how the Palmrich model is quite sustainable today and into the future. And one thing I commonly ask people, that what's the best thing you can lose in this program? If the palm trees do not fruit, if you don't have revenue from the palm trees, what's the worst thing that can happen? Your land as an asset will still remain. And the appreciation of the land can even far equate or be measurable to what the oil palm can give to you. But that's not telling us that the palm trees will not fruit. We have been able to also bring in a lot of partnerships to make sure that it is done right. It is done right. We are not doing this as a testing or an experiment. We partner with October Oil Palm PLC, over 40 years experience in this industry. We've partnered with a lot of institutions, RITA, with Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, to make sure that we are well averse about knowledge in agriculture before we then bring people into what it is. So I think this is a bit of what we have created as a model that is transparent, that is secure, and that is transgenerational. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a very, very insightful one into the model and the sustainability of the project. So very quickly, I'll throw the next one to Mr. Segun Aderibibe. Mr. Segun Aderibibe, you're very well vested into the project and very well invested in the project. So I want to just ask, for the sake of other persons here too, I'm sure you have over, I wouldn't disclose the number of hectares, but you're very well invested. So taking that very strategic move to not just own a portion, because you don't just own a portion, you've scaled it above the usual, and you're an owner in this project on a very large scale. As an investor into the project, what guaranteed you that what gave you that guarantee that yes, this is the right project to make this move into? And how did you even start to even come into the project?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you very well, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Chidera. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you on the call. I started with Asset Rise as one of the biggest critics. I run a financial club, and we are very, very careful with every little detail in an investment. And I think I really criticized Asset Rise because I really wanted to know Though I don't want to hear stories about my investments, and I'm also having an army of people who are highly intelligent. We speak a lot of English when it comes to investments. But when everything became very open, nobody's using quadratic equation to solve how money is made. Nobody's asking you, oh, we need to do something we cannot explain before we can give you your money. I started with, I think, phase 3. I started with one hectare. That's 15 plots. And then I moved to phase 5. When phase 5 was launched, I did 1 acre in phase 5. Then phase 4 then got launched, and I have about 10 hectares in phase 4. I also do have another 10 hectares in phase 6. What has made me heavily diversify my portfolio, because I've got several portfolio across different industries, is that this is an investment where you own the assets. It's not something over the internet. Sorry. It's not something over the internet. It's not digital money. It's physical. It's real. You can see it. And if the chips are down, what's the worst that can happen, like Mr. Rotimi said? You still have something to fall back on. I remember when I burnt my fingers in the stock market in 2008, when there was a global crash. I know how much I drank Gary then. Anyway, let me keep it here and keep it short for now. But I will say that I'm well invested. I think 80% of my portfolio now is on assets and landed properties. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shego. Thank you very, very much. So I also like to ask one last question before I ask another question from another category. For someone who is coming into the project, what would you tell the person? How would you? What advice are you going to give as a financial expert and an investment expert? What advice are you going to give to this person to look out for in terms of both security, especially with the Palmrich project? What advice would you be giving to someone coming into the project?
Okay, thank you. The best investment is the investment in self. The next best investment is investment where you are in control. What I would always recommend to people is invest in something you can control, you can see, you can feel, you can touch. So that if worst comes to the worst, it is still under your possession. So the investment recommendation or the investment advice I'll give to anybody is what you can control after you have done your due diligence. Let's leave this bring 50K, collect 100K in 2 days. How do you make such money? When things are transparent, things can be explained, things are there for you to validate, to verify. You work hard for your money. I think your money deserves an additional attention for you to do some due diligence. So if you're going to be investing in anything, and in this context, in asset-rise products, please do your due diligence. Leave the fact that it is my brother that told me, or it's my uncle, or it's my father, or my friend. No. Do your due diligence. What are your due diligence? Are they regulated? Are they registered? The product they are offering to me, can I validate the authenticity? How they say they will make the money? Is it something I can duplicate myself? Is it something that I can copy and I can go and duplicate? Right? These are questions that you should ask yourself as an investor or as a would-be investor. You want to buy a land? Go to the lands bureau. I mean, every land in every state is under a regulation or under a state government. Go to the lands bureau, do your due diligence, do your land search, take your surveyor, go and take the coordinates, and go and do a land search. Validate who owns it, and then you can then buy what you want to buy. Okay, so that would be my recommendation for anybody who is interested in investing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. That was very insightful. So coming into the project, we also advise that everyone do their own due diligence. We're very much open and transparent to every due diligence you'll be doing. So let me move on to the next panelist, Mr. Olakunle Olagunju. I'm sure he's on now. He has fixed, I got notification that he has fixed his technical issue. So Mr. Kunle, I just want to know, you've been in this industry, the agro industry, for a very long time now, almost or more than 16 years and running currently. So what would you say about, in the last webinar, yes, you gave us a very informed breakdown on the industry, but what would you say specifically now to the Palmrich project? You visited the sites. You've been to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. You've seen these trees that have been planted. What do you see as the future of what currently exists? You've also been to phase 5 where it's fruiting, the mill is operating. What would you say about what we currently have and what the future of the project holds to both people who have keyed into it and those who are going to key into it?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you very clearly.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shidera. And yes, I've been to all the. First of all, I want to say that investment in oil palm is not something that you can make a loss on. People have been into this over time, over time. And I was reading something about Presco this morning, and they were acquiring other plantations. If it's not profitable, why are they acquiring the same palm oil business? So other investments, other businesses, other companies into palm oil, which are doing better over years, 70 years, as Mr. Rotimi has just said. Even while it was still little, the palm oil has been produced, and it's still producing up till now. So it's not a wrong business; it's the right business. And at the same time, you still have your land at the same time. So visiting those locations, I was excited seeing them. I can see some fruiting already, and this is a very impressive eye to see. I think some other people saw it and they were very impressed too. So planting it, I was even glad for those that invested, because over time they will be reaping the reward of their investment. So it's not something that is fake. It's not fake. It's not something that is not real. Me, I've seen it. I saw where the milling operation is going on. I saw the fruiting. I saw those ones that are being planted. I saw the nursery. I saw everything firsthand. And this is real. This is real. And at the same time, you cannot make laws on it, because this is, first of all, is your land, as it has rightly been said. Then the second thing, you are making income on this land. Some of the ones that are planted are fruiting. Some of the ones that are just being planted are already doing well. So this is a very good business. This is a very good investment that you already have, and I can rest assured that you are not making a mistake by investing in it.
All right, sir. That's wonderful. So also tell me about the future you're seeing in this project. You mentioned Presco is acquiring more. It means there's a market there that people are really diving into. So what's the future of this, of scaling this beyond what it is currently? What's the potential future in this business, especially with this model where a lot of persons can come in and own different portions, acres, hectares, in numerous numbers? What's the future potential for every investor in this project?
Let me say this. From the start, we already have background history of how the palm oil already started. People have been making profit, and year in, year out, prices of oil have been growing. Let me say it this way. Sometimes some people will ask a question and say, okay, if everybody invest in palm oil, would the market be for everybody? Even now, the market for palm oil is still there. The market for palm oil, the country has not yet, what we have cannot yet satisfy the country. So we need more. We need more palm oil. And I can say this, we are getting to a level that this will be the source of income, or rather source of exportation for the country. So you cannot make mistake. The future of it is bright. It's bright. You cannot make mistakes. So let me say it this way. And another thing I can say is, you are not only getting money from only your palm oil. Like the last webinar that we did, there are other things that you get your money from, other things that you benefit from, and you still have your land appreciating year in, year out. With Palmrich, with asset rights, you cannot make this mistake. The future is bright. And the more you invest, the more income comes to you. So you can upscale and be rest assured that your income will benefit you very well.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So let me throw some other questions to Mr. Oluwadurotimi Ojamamoye. So for this project, you've taken us through the model and the structure of the project. I want to know, or our viewers also want to know, what are the documentations and proof of ownership? What are the legal documentations that will be given to each investor in this project? And is this an actual plantation with land ownership or just return basis? So what are the documentations and the procedures, starting in or coming into the project? What are the documentation expectations for the prospects and investors, sir?
Thank you. So the background of this project is real estate. If you go to the US, to the UK, and to most of these big countries who do larger agriculture, farming is a major real estate. I mean, last year I read some articles about Bill Gates acquiring massive lands in the US for farm. Farmland investment is a major investment, it's a major asset because land will always appreciate. But let's also know that it must be rightly documented. Number one, the land must be free from government acquisition. Number two, the titling must go perfected, either now or into the future. Number three, ownership must be legally documented. So it's simple. From our acquisition, we make sure that we partner with every host community, and then we acquire legally from the host community. And then take up this acquisition to government to register it. So title is well perfected to say, oh, these people have sold to me. Now I'm registering my survey as the new owner. And then we move from that to registering for the C of O. And now to the investors. Every portion that you then acquire, first you make your payment for your land, and that covers both the land and the planting that we're going to do on it. So every payment you're making, we're not going to come back to you to say, give us money for fertilizer, give us money for chemical. It is all inclusive in one package. Now you get the receipts for your payments, and then a contract that states how this project works. The contract explains what Asset Rise is agreeing with you and what you are agreeing with Asset Rise. So we will plead with you. The first part of our legality with you, from your receipts, is your contract of sales. Please read your contract once it is sent to you. Read it carefully. If you need a lawyer to also interpret to you, involve your lawyer and interpret it to your knowledge, because that is what is between us. And then that contract is then perfected to your full payment, and then we take you for physical allocation, where your land is then allocated with corner piece and your name signaled on it. And then you have your deed of assignment, which is a legal document prepared by the lawyer, stamped with the NBA stamps and the rest, to transfer title to you. Now, every title we have on the land that we have acquired it with is automatically transferred to you. So, for example, some of our estate has C of O, some are registered survey. Every title we bought it with, we cut out your own units, and then we transfer those titles to you in a clear document. Now, these are the processes. Now, we will also endure you that the palm plantation process is also same. Once you have made your purchase and you are done paying, we owe you to allocate you with with planted trees on your land. And then your 3 years window start counting to hold us that, 3 years my palm trees must be fruiting, because that is a major promise that we have made to you. And then number 3, once it starts fruiting, you have the right to either outsource to us, to mill for you, to sell for you, and then deliver the revenue to you, or you want to manage your palm trees yourself. So get it, the first thing we owe you is the land, a properly titled, documented land. And then number 2, planted with trees. And number 3, you have the right to either outsource to us to manage for you, or you want to manage your plantation yourself, because the land belongs to you. Now, if you outsource to us, we will take 40% of every revenue that is generated. If you do it yourself, you are owning 100% yourself. And then you can pay for milling operations and the rest and manage your farm. So these are the simple processes on how you can come up on this project. Let me reemphasize. Documentation is very, very important when it comes to land ownership. And that is why it is very important that please, whatever we have sold to you, or whatever we have advertised to you, you have the legal rights to take that document to the Ministry of Land and search it. And then we can proceed on on a journey that is going to be fruitful into the future. So this is all about from documentation to ownership. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. So I want to throw some more questions to you. I'm going to throw it in a lump sum. So I want you to just answer all of these questions together so that we can also move ahead because of time. So for someone coming into the project, what is the minimum investment I can get? Can I do you have a limit to what I can acquire, or do you have a minimum, or do you have a maximum to what I can acquire in the project? And also, do I need to pay all of this at once, or is there a payment plan that I can adopt to achieving this my investment goal? And also, can multiple people co-own land? Okay, can multiple people co-own land? And if I already have a land, can we work together? So I've thrown you 4 questions. Do you have a minimum and a maximum that I can acquire into this project? Is there a plan? Is there a payment plan or payment structure that I can use to acquire this? Can multiple people acquire this land? And if I already own the land, how can we partner together?
Thank you. 5 questions, straight answers. Number 1, there is no minimum. There is no maximum, rather, except if we don't have the stock. So, for example, our Ewekoro project is a 3,200 hectares cleared already. When I mean cleared, I don't mean we have bulldozed. I mean cleared with the government, that it is free from acquisition. Initially, we have an acquisition for 4,000 plus, and then with all information and due diligence from the government, only 3,200 hectares free. And so we stay with the cap of 3,200 for further investigation into the other ones that are not free before we can then put it into the market. So, for example, if you say you want to buy 5,000 hectares, we don't have that on Ewekoro. And for example, how do we also make sure that we don't oversell, which is a major problem also. How do we not oversell so that you then come tomorrow and say there's no land for you? As soon as you make your deposit, it is ticked out from our stock. And then it goes to number 2 question. If you want to do 10 hectares, 20 hectares, 50, 100 hectares, you can do as much as you want. There is no minimum as long as we have the stock. Then if you make your deposit, like I said, it is ticked out in our stock and subtracted from the total that we have. That is why we charge interest on long-term payment. So, for example, if you're paying for 6 months, we say you're going to pay 10% interest. If you're paying for 12 months, I say you're going to pay 20% interest additional. Because once you give us a deposit, we owe it to you to take it out of our stock so that we are not oversold. Then once you have done that, you can be faithful, please, to your payment terms. And there are terms and conditions to, staying within your payment corridor. Either you're paying within 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or you have a special negotiation. Now, when I talk about special negotiation, so persons are buying 10 hectares. And because they are doing volume, they want to have a special negotiation. There is a window for that. You can call into our sales department, and then they can take up that discussion with you. If you're doing 10 hectares and above and you want some considerations, they can take that up with you. Now, ownership. By legal titling, it has been dissolved that you can't even buy land with Mr. and Mrs. So you and your wife that you married and you have certificates, the government is saying you cannot buy land and say Mr. and Mrs. Chidera. It must own a title to an individual. So if you are then buying as a family, how do you want to separate that ownership? Your lawyer can explain. The other component of co-ownership is that you can, maybe 5 of you are coming together. You can register an SPV. You can register a farm, create an entity around it and say, oh, myself and all the workers or in my office, we are coming together to buy 20 hectares. Create an SPV, register it as an entity. And so the land is owned by that entity. And then that entity becomes legal to own and apportion everyone according to what they own. And we have been able to do this across several cooperatives. Today, we've closed transactions with Total Energies, Transamadi, courtesy of NSE. We have been able to close transaction with the Total Energies. We have ongoing transaction with Chevron Cooperative and several cooperatives that are coming together to say, oh, we want to own units like this. So you become an entity either as a cooperative or you register a business and the business is buying on your behalf. That is how you can co-own land. The other option is you own it as an individual. The last question, I already have a land. We answered this last week. It is good. Be very, very invested in land ownership. However, for the Palmrich model, we can only come in partnership with you if you are doing minimum 50 hectares and above. And I will explain perfectly to you. One, for economics of scale, you cannot, the same milling operation that you will use for 100 hectares will power your 50 hectares. And number 2, if you do a lower milling system, you will waste your production. How do I mean? You need to extract the oil from the north, and that will require a lot of mechanization. And if you invest low in mechanization, in extraction, you are going to be wasting the extraction. So you may be extracting less than 20% of your fruits because you don't have a proper mill that can extract well. And for you to invest in a proper mill, you need to have a farm big enough to power such mill because the fruit becomes a raw material to feed the machines. So if you are doing 10 hectares alone, definitely you're going to be losing money because your milling, your plants, cannot be so expensive that your 10 hectares will not be feeding it. That's why we have created this community-driven model so that we can have mechanization in scale, and then the mill can be enough to extract the best for you, and you make more money. Number 2, if you are doing it alone, consider security.
I was also saying that
investment. Please, can you mute that microphone, please? Thank you. Mute the microphone, please.
corrected you to use that word.
Take the person out of the meeting if he's not muted, please.
Because what God judge as good as evil.
Can you take King David out of the meeting if he's not muting his mic, please?
No, it's me that corrected you to use judgment.
Yeah, I'm telling you that.
We are waiting for you. Please take King David out of the meeting if he's not muting his mic.
IT, please, can you help with that very quickly? Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, number two thing you need to consider. A lot of us invest in agriculture as passion. I was with an investor yesterday, and he was lamenting how much he has invested in agriculture. And now he has lost massive amounts. He has a poultry, he has a piggery, he has, greenhouses, and diverse investment. The problem with agri is that you must be available. The number two thing is that you must plan for security. If you don't plan for security, you are going to lose money. Security starts from not Fulani herdsmen. It starts with your workers. It starts with your workers. So please, if you are saying you want to do your own, you must be able to plan for security. And lastly, on this question, we have been able to do this also partnering with people who are not in the Palmrich model. This year, we have done a large hectares. I don't want to disclose to the former First Lady of Osun State and the wife of the current Minister for Blue Economy. Very lovely woman. Empowering the people in our locality with the oil palm, with other farming, to make sure that they are food sustained and they generate revenue to take care of the NGO. If you have an NGO, you want to create a farm, you have a church, you want to empower your members, this is a strategic move. And you don't necessarily need to come to the Palmrich. If you have a big enough farm that we can partner with you, we've planted and delivered an entire plantation for her. And we are saying thank you to her every time because that partnership was a very good one. We have also partnered with top bankers in Nigeria, creating from scratch to end of their own farm. And so we can do this in partnership with you, but you must consider and tick all these boxes: security, milling, and every other factor that you need to take. Thank you so much.
Very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. So I want to ask two questions now. Okay, let me ask this question. Coming in on a lower scale for low-income earners, okay, and even for students that want to participate in this to plan for a better future, for their better future, what support is available, what accessible or entry points is available for these persons?
We are very much passionate about students, and that is why we have a major partnership with Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. You have to watch the video of the SAP project. The former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, gave a keynote speaking on that. The Commissioner for Agriculture and the entire university community of FUNAB, where we currently we are given 100 hectares in the school where we currently cultivate. Because students graduate and then there is no job. And I'll tell you a simple cheat for my village. Once you are in secondary school, your father is planting, it's telling you to go and own a plantation. Because by the time you graduate from school, your plantation is already fruiting. And imagine you own a 5 acres when you are in secondary school. By the time you graduate, you are earning even better than a bank manager in Lagos. So we are more passionate about youths coming into this to create a sustainable future. And to parents, it is good that you send your children to all the Ivy League schools, but asset base is also very important for them. So imagine when they graduate, and then after attending the Ivy League school, they don't have jobs. So you need to also consider that you can create a plan for them that can empower them when they get out of school to own a sustainable income stream that can even then power their dreams, invest into whatever they have to do. Now, to the lower model, we have the Flap Africa Partnership, a technology company that we partner with that then breaks it down for students to be able to afford and come into the project for as low as 25,000 naira. They start their land ownership and then they can pay up. But you cannot come into that if you cannot disclose to us that you're a student or you are a youth below some age, because there are criteria for that selection. We are intentional about this because if we want to grow an Africa that should be secured, our youth is our major concern with security. They become jobless, we don't have a secure Africa. And that is our own narration for how we want this project to transform the African story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So I want to throw a question to Mr. Shegun. When is the right time to invest in something like this? Okay, we're seeing a lot of interest, especially with young youths, students, and low-income earners who don't think, okay, I think I have to wait for the right time when I have the income to come on this project. When is the right time to key into these projects, both for the youth and both for those who are diversifying and even those who are planning retirement? When is the right time to come into an investment like this?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you very clearly, sir.
Okay, before I could give an answer to that, I raised my hand when you were asking about the future of oil palm, and I just wanted to quickly let us know that oil palm plantation and oil and all byproducts have multi-industry application. And now we are seeing the application of even oil palm in aviation. Just a few months ago, Indonesia actually blended the aviation fuel with palm oil, and they were able to fly, do a commercial flight, using the oil. So it's multi-industry application. I don't think there's going to be an end to the use of oil palm and the byproducts, apart from food and cosmetics and biofuel and aviation and all of that. I don't think there's going to be an end to that. So just to quickly mention that, okay, that's why I raised my hand. Now, going to how soon or how early, everyone should be an investor. So long as your landlord will keep asking for rent, the man selling yam on the street will keep asking you for money before he can hand over that yam. The telco will keep asking you for money before you can recharge your line or buy data. As long as your boutiques, the person in the boutique keeps selling close to you, you keep spending money on everything. No money actually goes and comes back except an investment. Then there is no time you shouldn't invest. And with as little as you can from where you are, your future will thank you for it. That's what I want to quickly say about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So let's move on to the next. Let's move on to another category, and I'm going to be throwing this at Mr. Kunle. So I'm going to throw in a series of questions. I would love you if you can take. I'll throw all the questions at once so that you can answer them in a lump sum. Okay. So when hello, can we help to mute the mic? IT, can you also help with that? Mr. Kunle, so I'm going to throw this question to Mr. Kunle. When do the palm trees, when do they start fruiting, especially the breed that Palmrich Estate, Asset Rights Palmrich Estate is planting? When do they start fruiting? And when do I start earning as an investor into the project? Then also, what should I expect? So we're seeing a lot of, we're currently in a system where, everyone wants to give a projection. What are the projections that are more feasible, and how can you break that down to the minimum? So if you tell me I'm going to get $1 million from this, how is this $1 million even feasible? What can I get from a tree? What can I get from a plot? What can I get from an acre? Okay, so when do the palm trees start fruiting? When do I start earning? And what is the projection that I should expect from my plantation? And what is the breakdown?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shidera. Thank you very much. So the kind of palm that we planted is Tenera, the F1 Tenera, the first generation Tenera. And this Tenera starts fruiting in 3 years. The time it starts fruiting is 3 years. And examples are the ones that I've seen recently in the plantation that we already have. Those have started fruiting. It's 3 years, you begin to reap, as in harvest from the 3 years upward till any year you want to stop. We've seen Tenera that has grown up to 70 years. We have seen grown up to 40, 50 years. It depends on individuals. It depends on what you want. So from 3 years upward, Tenera starts fruiting. So then what are the approximate projections you can be getting? Okay. If you can say this, first of all, it has several factors, as Mr. Rotimi has rightly said. Processing, which we Asset Rights has planned for very good processing structure, and also we have process, depends on how you process it. Then let me put it this way. Okay, let me say from 1 acre, you can be talking of around 2 million, 3 million. But depending is still depending on your production. You understand? And the kind of breed you have. But for our own, you'll be talking of 2 million, 3 million projection.
All right, sir. So 2 million, 3 million.
Can I just chip in a bit?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
I want to speak from the angle of being an investor and someone who is earning on a monthly basis from the investments. Like I said, when I was making my first speech, there is no rocket science, there is no almighty formula or one scientific way your returns are given or are obtained and given to you. On a plot of land, 50 by 100, that is 500 square meter, the NIFOR standard says you plant 10 trees, okay? Because of the spacing you need. On 1 tree, using worst case scenario analysis, on 1 tree, you have multiple bunches. But worst case scenario analysis on one tree, you have one bunch, even though you have multiple bunches. One bunch, worst case scenario, because again, as the trees age, the palm fronds get bigger, the seeds get bigger, you be able to mill more palm oil and all of that. But using worst case scenario analysis, one tree will give you one bunch. One bunch will at least give you a 25-liter keg of palm oil in 1 year. Again, using the worst case scenario analysis. So therefore, if one tree gives you one bunch, even though you have more bunches, and that one bunch gives you a keg, 25-liter keg of palm oil, even though you should have more than that, it therefore means 10 trees on your 50 by 100 plots will give you 10 kegs of palm oil. Now, if we say we want to use the old market rates, or even just about, though current market rate is a bit higher now, but old market rates, a keg of palm oil, 25 liters, goes for 30,000 naira. 10 kegs will give you 300,000 naira. Asset Rise will say, okay, you want to manage your farm yourself? Please be my guest. If you want us to manage it for you, we do the storing, we do the milling, we do the harvesting, we do the transportation to the market, we do all the headaches. We will take 40%, right? And you will have 60%. 60% from 300,000 is 180,000 naira passive income. This does not have to even do with the land value that is appreciating into the future. Now, we know that it is a moving target. Things will keep getting expensive. Food inflation is over 40%. As time goes on, and again, I'm speaking from who currently earns on a monthly basis. I'm speaking from that angle as an investor and as an advocate of people who have also brought people who are also earning on a monthly basis. I'm speaking from that calculation, right? As you can see, I'm saying it off my head. So 60%, 40%. If you say no, I want to manage my farm myself, oh well and good. It's your land at the end of the day anyway. So please manage your farm yourself and keep all the profit to yourself. But if you're going to allow Asset Rise do it like I am allowing Asset Rise do mine, because I don't have that, as I'm speaking to you, I'm not even in the country, right? So I don't have time to go to the farm. so what I'm saying is, from my own experience, you get your 60%, Asset Rise takes the 40% for all the headaches that they are carrying, and you share the profit that way. So I think I'll leave it there. Thank you.
All right. So I want to ask, I'm also going to throw this question to Mr. Kunle. These returns that we're speaking about, are they fixed returns?
No, okay. If I will say these returns, and Mr. Shagun has already broken it down. Yes, he broke it down in a way that you will understand better. But sometimes, in addition to what he has said, there are costs of production, cost of planting, cost of a lot of things from all these things that we have said. So it depends on, because he has broken it down about 60-40% for management of the asset price, managing it for you, if you invest in it. So there is still cost, a lot of cost goes into it. A cost of production is there, cost of clearing, cost of all that. If you manage it yourself, you still do all this. So it's still, after this, then the profit is then splitted in 60-40. So there are lots of things that is to be considered too. Aside, this is what is coming in for me. But at the same time, they will manage it very well for you. There's cost of clearing too, because this is all the things that you need to get people to do for you. Cost of production. If you don't produce well, you cannot get the correct extraction ratio. That means you won't get what you need to sell. As in, if you're not getting correct extraction ratio, that means if you're supposed to produce 2 kegs, you will be producing maybe half a keg. You understand? So it depends on all that. But Asset Rise have the full capacity to do all that. And at the same time, the Asset Rise is offering 60-40% in this negotiation. So managing it is a difficult thing. But Asset Rise has volunteered to do all this. But you can't say this is that amount, because that will be after you have removed all the costs of production, all the cost of doing all that. And then after splitting it, that's when you say, this is your profit.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So I'm going to throw in these questions on the market and the sales. So we're talking about this production. We're talking about, what we can produce, what we can earn, right? And the concerns of even the market being too influenced. That's the market not being available again once everyone has come into it. So currently, who is buying the produce that Asset Rise is able to mill from these palm trees? I'll be throwing this question to Mr. Oluwadurotimi Ojamamoye. Who is buying this produce? And we also have questions here that are saying, can I sell export palm oil or kernel? Is there market support from Asset Rise? when is the best time to sell my palm oil? When is the best time to sell this palm oil that has been produced? And what is the possible, we've answered this question, what's the likely possible future in the palm oil industry? So let's take the questions. Who buys the produce? Is there a market support for asset rice? Can I sell, export palm oil and kernel? And when is the best time to sell palm oil?
Okay, thank you so much. Very brilliant question. We are going to answer all questions coming in online. Mr. Tunde, we can see your question. We're going to take a little bit of this now and then go back to those live questions that are coming in. However, we've planned this program and collected over 236 questions that was asked at the last meeting. And that is why we are taking time to answer those questions. And I want also plead with every one of us, please, this is an official platform. This is a legal platform. Don't insult anybody on this platform. I saw someone throwing something that, please go and manage it yourself, blah, blah, blah. Everyone here is respected. And please, we don't want any form of insult. If we see you throwing any sort of insult, we're going to delete it from the program. Please, let's be very corporate about this. Thank you. Now, the market for palm oil is wide and big. The global demand is always rising. The projection from now to 2030 is that it's even going to grow higher. And so let me talk about the forces that are making this demand. Number one, over 50% of every product in supermarket shelves have elements of palm oil in them. That is a research by the World Wildlife Funds in the United Kingdom. Number two, almost or a wider number of African families globally and even international communities consume palm oil every day. So I want to ask you a sincere question. Have you eaten palm oil today? It is almost a 90% yes from us, almost 90% of us. Because you brushed your mouth today, there is palm oil in that element. You use lipstick for our ladies, I mean, our sway ladies and all our mamas. You've used lipstick today, there's palm oil in that product. Your hair cream, there's palm oil. Almost your chocolates, there's palm oil. Most of your pastries, there are elements of palm oil in them. So you can imagine that human population keep increasing. So from cosmetics to pharmaceuticals to every kind of industrial usage, biofuel and all, the usage will keep increasing because human population is increasing. And palm tree produces the highest volume of oil in every plant globally. Soya beans and the rest, they produce oil, but palm oil has the highest oil producing content. Now, let's also understand that in Nigeria, for example, we have a deficit of over 1.3 million metric tons that we can supply. So Nigeria still has, import palm oil. Over 350% of palm oil consumed are still imported, mostly by industries. This is a gap that we can fill when we come into this project. So from companies like PZ, Unilever, and more of them, they use palm oil in most of their production. From your vegetable oil, we call it ororo and the rest. Most of the ororo you buy are produced from palm trees. The palm kernel oil is extracted into vegetable oil. Some of us may not know that, but definitely you think, your ororo is groundnut oil. Nah. Most of your ororo, I can tell you that a larger portion of the ororo in the market are extracted from palm kernel. So you see the large demand. Now, palm oil from history, since the day I was born, you don't produce palm oil looking for buyers. You can quote me wrong anywhere. Buyers go after the palm tree farmers. Right now in my village, you will see almost every day women from Lagos carrying kegs, going around from bush to bush, from hut to hut, looking for palm tree farmers who they can buy palm oil from. I have experienced that all through my life at home, and even till date, it's still happening. The demand is always higher. And by the fact that also that the palm tree is a seasonal crop, it has a peak period, it has the off-peak period. Now we are in the off-peak period. The palm trees are not producing as they will in the peak period. So there is scarcity. And when there is scarcity, the demand will not stop and the price will keep rising. So we can witness as at date, a keg of palm oil in Lagos State now is 55,000. But let's go back again to milling and extraction, like Mr. Kule said. A 4 liter of Okumu oil, Banga oil, is sold for 25,000 naira. I was in a call with some international investors yesterday in Canada who were requesting for some tons of palm oil, and then they told me, we have Okumu and the rest. But Okumu, 4 liters of Okumu is 25,000. It means that 25 liter of Okumu of Banga oil is 150,000 as a date. More expensive than your barrel of crude oil. I did not say by your barrel of palm. I did not say that your barrel of petrol. It is more expensive than your barrel of crude oil, the entire crude oil. A 25 liter of palm oil as a base, well refined, only palm oil, well refined. I'm not talking about the palm kernel oil now. Well refined is more expensive than your barrel of crude oil. And that keep going on until you get to November, October, November, when the scarcity will be at its height, and a keg can sell for as much as it can, because the demand will still always come. So if you ask about the market is always there. And I told the investors yesterday, you want these metric tons in volume, we can supply you. We don't have to supply you, because every copper of oil we have right now, people have already booked it. We are only waiting for the right time to supply. People compete to even book. So the market is always there. So what are we to do as investors? Like I spoke to these international investors yesterday, is backward integration. Backward integration meaning let's plant more trees so that we can have more oil and we can make more money. That is the backward integration we can do. And so we supply to a ready market, to a market that even, they scrabble for it. And if you want to compare this to other agri, aside cocoa, cashew, these cash crops that are well demanded abroad, globally, if you do plantain, pineapple, and other crops, it's very, very good. We all cannot do palm oil. But one thing is that when it comes to risk, even yams and every other thing, the palm oil has a more portfolio for risk management or risk aversion than every other crop. And that's why it is a very sustainable business. And why do I say risk aversion? You can store your oil for more than 1 year, and it does not, nothing happens to it. You store it for more than 1 year, yes. We started with palm oil invest, 2018, 2017. We will buy from all the local farmers and store. And we will make over 100% profit from just buying to store. You're going to pay me for that Ojuro I'm giving you. There's another market. But the truth is, it depends where you're going to see the market, the farmers who will sell to you. So the market is always there. Thank you. I can go on and on and on. General, we cannot hear you.
Okay, so sorry about that. Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwadurintimi Ojamoye. So I want to ask, this is a very important and delicate question. So as an investor keen into this project, how am I able to monitor? Okay, you've mentioned that yes, I own the land and I own the plantation on this land, but how am I able to monitor that operations that are being activities are going on this plan? Monitor my portfolio with Asset Rise Limited with my Palmrich project. How am I able to say, oh, this is what I currently own, this is how it has appreciated over time, and these are the updates coming in? And also, would there be updates, videos, reports, farm progress sent to me, or how do I get access to all of these reports?
Okay, thank you. The structure we have created with the Palmrich project is a structure that we can present anywhere in the world, because we have considered global standard in creating whatever we are currently doing. And I've posted about this always, and I will say it again. I have presented this twice at the UK House of Lords. We currently have international investors after that presentation in the UK House of Lords who are powering one of our agro-smart city, precisely the Adodo projects in terms of infrastructures. And for us to scale that presentation, I can tell you have gone through a lot of questions, from risk to everything, to even getting the state government. That was what forced me to go to the Ogun State government, to getting the state government to say that, oh, we are aware of this project, and this project is practical in our state. So let me say that monitoring is practical. It is practical and simple. You own the farm. Whatever you own, you can come there. That is why it is real estate. It is real. It is not crypto. It is not Bitcoin. You can come live to the land, see your corner piece, inspect your trees, if you are free to do that. And if you're not free, you can send family and friends. Oh, please let me check. I own such and such in this place. Please book an inspection with Asset Rise and tell them you want to see my land. So we can take you live to your land to see. And also, the corporate governance structure of this project, from Asset Rise to the Palmrich Tribe, makes it structured in a way that reports are given every quarter. So the Palmrich Tribe is a different entity from Asset Rise. And who owns that entity, Palmrich Tribe? It is owned by the landlords of Palmrich Estate. And the Lagos State Ministry of Cooperative Trade Commerce and Cooperative is our umpire on this, meaning it has a legal structure that is democratic. That can even say, oh, asset rights, you're not managing this thing well. We don't want you to manage our farms anymore. It is as much as that. So then it has a board of trustees who have their own team in technical capacities to say, we want to audit every of your operations, because report is given quarterly, even to fertilizer application, to the health of the trees. We give reports every quarter. And we want to solicit that as much as you have keyed into the Palmrich project, please ensure that you join the Palmrich tribe. Please ensure that you join the Palmrich tribe for updates. So these updates come quarterly. You see everything happening in the estates, and then you can also come live by yourself to see and witness what is happening in any of our estates. So this is how we ensure transparency in monitoring and giving updates. And lastly, when it comes to selling your products, it's your products. It's not asset rights products. We don't determine the price. The market determines the price, and you can confirm the price and tell us to go ahead and sell. So it's also happened in the tribe that when we have to sell, the R&D department will give the market report to the tribe. So, oh, a keg of palm oil is now 100,000. I'm giving an example. Don't quote me, please. It's now 100,000. And then, oh, it is October. The R&D will tell you this will be the best or the highest appreciation for the year before it starts declining, because new fruit will start coming out. Can we go out and sell? And then the tribe will vote and say, go out and sell. And who is the tribe? You. So if you don't give us that go ahead, we will not sell. And we cannot come and tell you, oh, we sold for 30,000 when oil is 100,000, because every due report must be given, and you are completely in control of whatever happens with your farm. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So I'm going to take two last questions before we move to the questions that we have in the chat box. I can see over 100 questions already in the chat box. But let's just take two last questions. Then we move on to the chat box. So one of the questions is saying, who is the team in Asset Rise Limited? Is it just Mr. Rotimi? We've also seen Ms. Rokiba, the legal officer today. Who is the team? How many is this team behind the Asset Rise management, behind the Asset Rise project? Who are they? Can we know some of these persons? What's the number of persons behind this project?
So thank you. Asset Rise is not a one-man business. It's not. Also, we should consider. Okay. For every business that you're investing in, you need to know the legal structure of the organization. Asset Rise is a full registered limited liability organization. We have our board of directors, and over 7 of them. The chairman of our board, which you also know, I mean, they're presently on the website, Professor Rotimi Olatunji, and the BOT chairman, Engineer Olutokumbo Yenuga, who is the BOT chairman for the Palmrich tribe, and our BOT chairman for the Asset Rise Holdings, Dr. Ngozi Ayongu. And these persons that we have mentioned, they are all professionals to the core. For example, Professor Rotimi Olatunji is a renowned professor with the Lagos State University. Dr. Ngozi Ayongu is a seasoned banker and currently the MD, CEO, AG Mortgage Bank PLC. And then you have diverse range of directors from home and abroad. Mr. Shegwade Ribe, who just spoke, is also a director, and he's well vested in investments. We can go on and on and on with the portfolios of our investors, but you can, for the sake of time, go on our website and read more about the portfolio of the director. It's not a one-man business, and these directors ensure every legal structure in the organization is functional. To auditing, to reporting, across board, from the Palmrich to the Asset Rise itself, to the holdings, everything is in a legal entity, and it's not Rotimi, it's not my business. I am the group managing director, a staff of Asset Rise, and tomorrow, I may not be the group managing director. The board can decide to appoint another group managing director. So I am not the owner of Asset Rise. And also, let me state that in terms of key man risk, we have built an organization that is not dependent on a man. Currently with over 100 staffs who are functioning in different capacity and who can tell you A to Z, and especially the Palmrich project team, they can tell you A to Z about everything about the estate because it is well detailed to everyone. So it is not dependent on any man. It is dependent on a structure and a system that can function by itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. All right, so I'll be moving now to some of the questions we have in the chat box. And I think once I go through some of I'm seeing some of the questions now, I'm going to be asking some of them. Then we can take a few live questions where you come up and you ask your questions, sorry. So I want to throw a question to Mr. Shegu Aderibe. So Mr. Shegu, I want you to just give me a difference, how do we differentiate this, or how would you say you can personally differentiate this as an investor? The asset rise model, we know everything about asset rise, about the project. Sorry, I am Palmrich now. We know everything about the Palmrich project. We know it's an ownership model. You own the land, you own the palm trees, and it goes on and goes on. So how can you differentiate this from the agro investment era? The agro investment era where persons just come in and say, oh, bring this, we'll give you this at the end of the day. How are you able to differentiate it? A clear differentiation between these two models.
Okay. In a very short way, it's equity versus debt. When the agro investment thing became a buzz, a lot of people said, oh, bring money, let's invest for you. I'm not going to mention names. And they took so much money than they could inject into the business. Some very legitimate businesses started out, but either by greed from the management or by some very big blunder in the operations, they were taking in money and they kept on taking in money and promising returns. That is not necessarily a Ponzi, okay? Because a Ponzi is even when there is nothing, no instrument powering that money, but is a very terrible blunder. This is different. It's not debt, it's equity. You are the owner, and whatever the farm conditions, for whatever the market rates for the produce is, you get your commissions or you get your percentage of your profit share. Okay, so that's a major difference. This is an equity model, not a debt model. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. All right, so I can see a question in the chat box, and I want to throw this question to Mr. Kunle Olagunju. It's saying, aside the gestation period for the oil palm plantation, what can be intercropped? What can be intercropped between these palm trees, and how is it also possible to intercrop? You're planting palm trees. How do you want to intercrop on the land, and what can you intercrop? Mr. Kunle, please, we'll take you now.
Okay, yes, there's possibility of intercropping based on the permission of the people that owns the plantation. They bought it, so with their permission, intercropping can happen. I've seen intercropping with maize. I've seen with cassava, with even I think planting with yam. Intercropping is possible, even with pepper and all that. It's possible, but based on that, we can do intercropping with the permission of the people that are involved, the owner of the plantation. It's possible.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So I can also see a question here that says, in the case of a natural disaster, what is likely to happen, and how does this affect the yield of the plantation? I also like to throw that to Mr. Kunle, sir.
Okay, in natural disaster, for example, if I can say, first of all, I can say some of these plantations are insured. So that one is insured. That is one. Then two, the second thing I can say is it depends on the natural disaster. For example, wildfire. Let me give an example of wildfire. Palm trees are very resilient. Sometimes when I've seen palm trees go once, and in 1 or 2 years they come up again. As long as the root is still standing, palm trees is very strong and it can still withstand a lot of things. I've seen some that withstood fire and other things. But if you can't withstand that, I think some can be replanted. But if it's big enough, it can withstand any natural disaster. It depends on which one of the natural disaster you're talking about.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So quickly, all right, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So for every business, risk is something that should be very, very considered. And that is why we have insurance on this plantation. Despite the trees being agile, this is if not the toughest tree that you can talk about in terms of cash crops. Like Mr. Kunle gave an example. If fire gets into a cocoa farm, that's the end of the cocoa farm. If fire gets into a palm tree farm, I have witnessed fire burn a palm tree farm. For example, our phase 3 in Ekpe, we were trying to burn some bush to plant some area, and then it burnt some sections And by the rainy season, all the trees are grown back. So it is something that is very agile. And we talk about crucial natural disasters that you want to talk about flood. Flood is an addition to the palm tree because the water will help it to grow more and it does not affect it in any way. What other natural disaster can we talk about? Thunder strike, yes. Thunder strike is destructive. It can cut away the head of the tree, but it's very, very rare. And in most cases, wind, I mean, you have seen a lot of wind issues everywhere. You get into a palm tree farms and the trees, almost all the trees are standing. These trees are very agile. So, but despite the eventualities, that's why we have an insurance backup, so that we don't throw all our eggs to nothing in terms of risk that we cannot really withstand. Yeah. So the risk path is measured, and we have taken some measures to ensure all our land, all our plantation against risk. But don't forget, no matter what happens to the trees, which is very, very rare, the land still belongs to you. And that is a component that the value is massive. I'll give you an example while I stop this from our Ekpe plantation. At 700,000 naira per plot, today a plot is 4.5 million, not by our own projection, but by the force of the market in that window. Adodo, you've been to Adodo, you were there when we launched it. It was a whole bush. But today you've seen the government constructing the road from Songo to Benin Republic, and that is driving massive movement of people to that area. The Lagos-Badagry Express Road, which is also at the back of Adodo. The Agbara Industrial Park, several universities opening up in that wing, and the value of your land is skyrocketing. That is what this project is about. Agriculture plus real estate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So another question I'd love us to answer is, there's a question saying, would change of government or would government policy change affect this business model?
Okay. Sorry. Change of government. Sorry, my battery is low. Just give me 1 minute. Let me power, and then I can come back to answer the question, Chidera, please.
Let me go for that. Let me go for that.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. You can go on, sir.
Everything that we do, we carry the governments along. We buy the land from the government or from the indigents. We regularize the documentation. Yes, will governments change? Governments always change, but does that affect the policy? So long as they're doing something legal, there's nothing illegal in this model. We've done our due diligence before we, acquire the land. So when someone says with the change of governments, it's only if you acquire land that's under, government interest or government acquisition, and they want to use it for public use. But once a land has been excised to an indigent or a family or whatever, and we buy the land and we regularize the documentation, every other thing we have done hand in hand with the governments. We've met with SEC, that's the Security and Exchange Commission. We have met with the various lands bureau in the respective government quarters that we play with. We're also in partnership with NSC, which is a governmental entity. So everything that we do, it's in collaboration with the government itself. So I am now wondering how else we are not playing let's hide something. There's nothing to hide. It's open. The government people are also very much our friends and they know what is going on in what we are doing. So please, it's only when one is scared or one is doing something illegal that you begin to get worried around governmental policies and this and that. But at the end of the day, one thing is noteworthy. The government can choose to do anything, any day, anywhere. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. Where you live, the government can say tomorrow we want to come and put a road there. But what have you got from the government that makes you immune to such policies? That is where you're able to mitigate against such concerns. Okay? So yes, it's a very legitimate question. It's a very valid question. But once you have all the regular, appropriate documentation and backing, you have nothing to worry about.
Thank you so much, sir. So government, it's our friend. It's very unique that globally it is the same. The nations on the earth, we keep expanding in terms of projects and every other thing. And that's why one of the things we almost consider at every time is to see that the where we are buying, is it an area that has been marked for future acquisition? In the mapping of the government, is this area designed for maybe a project in the future? As long as we can answer that is a no with the state, with the Ministry of Land, then we have buy-in the government to say that this project is coming on because you have given us a permission that this place can accommodate it. But in the future, if that narrative changes, for example, if that place becomes a part where a gas line should pass, a road network should pass, there will be negotiations with the government, and then compensations will be made. We've seen that case over, even if you have a C of O on your land. If the government is saying that we need to use this place to avert something for public interest, there's almost nothing you can do. But in that case, you will be duly compensated by the government. Thank you. Can we move on, please, Chidera?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So I want to ask a question. I can see that coming up repeatedly. This question is on expansion, and I would like you to speak to the partnership with the Nigerian Society of Engineers on the expansion on the project. And I also saw someone mentioning the invites by the Enugu State and the Abia State government on the project. So can you just speak to this and the expansion and the partnership with the Nigerian Society of Engineers as well?
Thank you so much. We have a lot of media exposure, and this has brought us into a lot of government meetings and closed doors meetings for how we can, see more of this happen. And that has brought us to meeting with not just the NSE, not just the state government of Abia and Enugu, where we were last year, courtesy of movement also from AG Mortgage Bank, who is a bigger institution that we have an MOU and a structured partnership with. And we were in Enugu, we had meetings with the Commissioner for Agriculture, we have meetings, virtual meeting with the SA to the government. We have meeting with almost every capacity that we can have at that capacity. And we are looking at a 10,000 hectares. Even last week, the meeting still came up about the Songhai project, if we're willing to take up that place and the rest. So there are a lot of deliberations ongoing. However, we have not concretized. We drew back because of some security challenges. But now, Enugu is a very peaceful place. And we know that definitely our Igbo brothers, they cannot wait for this project to come down to Enugu and to Abia. Same as Abia, we have meetings with top government functionaries about expansion into the states. And we are on point to see this come live into those states. Possibly by next year, some of these projects will kick off in those states. However, we know that land in the West is totally different from land in the East. And we are also careful how we structure this movement. That is one of the things that concerns us. Like I told you, with my risk knowledge and my training in risk management, any project I am taking on, the first thing I want to look out is to check the risk. It's not just about the money, about the profiting, about the projections. First is about the risk. If you don't take risk into consideration, it can wipe away your investments. So with Akwa Ibom, yes, we have a larger interest in Akwa Ibom, and we are coming to Akwa Ibom. I was in Akwa Ibom about 3 times last year also, but we don't have any structured thing coming yet, but we are coming up with Akwa Ibom. We've inspected a lot of lands, and something also is coming up with Akwa Ibom. Now, for our partnerships with Nigeria Society of Engineers, the NSC is a very big body, and it's a national and an international body, a very big body. You're talking about a body that controls the entire engineers in Nigeria. That is huge. You're talking about people who work in your oil and gas, in fact, almost everything that sustains your country, engineering-wise. And they are very smart, very technical. So how did we scale a partnership with the NSE? Number one, we understood that agricultural mechanization is the way to go. You cannot have a big agricultural project without engineering, because mechanization production is powered by engineering, irrigation, and a lot of things. So the NSE signed an MOU with us. A memorandum of understanding signed at the NSE headquarters in Abuja and at the NSE Council by the NSE president. We love the president. Thank you so much for the privilege. Signed MOU. So when we're talking about partnership, we're not boboing you. Signed memorandum of understanding. We have the videos we can share with you. And that partnership is also moving us into expansion. The NSC want us to collaborate and take this project around the 6th geopolitical zone in the country, and also do in each geopolitical zone the crops that can fit that geopolitical zone. And that MOU is gradually materializing. We have the likes of Total Energies Trans-Amadi today, who is active in Palmrich tribe. We have NSC Keja branch. We have NSC, several components of the NSC branches who have come into this project, not just coming, who are vested in this project right now. And you also would know that the BOT chairman is a member of the NSC, is an engineer, and is currently the director of works with Lagos State Ministry of Works. And these persons are smart. They are not people you can tell nonsense. every detail must be explained and provided. So that is our nature of a partnership with the NSC. Last year also, we have the privilege of hosting the Bank of Industry in our Ekpe and our Ibadan projects. And the Bank of Industry, from everything that they're saying, are willing to also bankroll our milling operation in Ekpe and expand our Ibadan plant, and also extend same to Adodo, another project that are upcoming. That is how much also the government of Nigeria is willing to support agriculture. Sometimes the only thing we see is that Nigeria is not good, the government is not doing anything, but I can tell you a lot of things are happening. You witnessed recently the president launching 2,000 tractors for agriculture. It is massive, a lot of investment. You see the memorandum of understanding with Brazil for agriculture. The government is doing a lot in agriculture, and they are willing to partner with structured systems. And we have seen that with the Bank of Industry coming up with the milling operation set up for the Palmrich Estate project. And you talk about the MOU with AG Mortgage Bank, a signed memorandum of understanding with a lot of details. We have a signed insurance package with mutual benefit insurance. We have a signed MOU with IITA, International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, signed MOU. We have partnership with October Palm PLC, who is a major partner for over 6 years now. And say, why have we built all these robust partnerships? One, our partners believe in what we are doing. Number two, the partners believe that this is the way to go. We need to solve food security, and it must be practical. It must not be one stupid idea from somewhere that will make people lose their money. It must be well planned and thought through. And like I tell you, for this project to have scaled international presentations, even at the House of Lords, and then having investors coming from there, it tells you that we are doing something a bit right. And that's why we need your support. It is not our project anymore. It is your project. As long as you are invested into this, you are in the Palmrich tribe, it becomes your project. The success of it is the success of your project. And that is why the governance structure makes it that it is democratic. You tell us what to do, we look into it together, we implement only the right result, you audit what we do, we give reports on what we do, and this can be fast sustainable into the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. So I think now, because of time, let's move to questions that we have. Let's move to live questions. We can take iPhone 22. iPhone 22, if you're available, please just unmute and ask your question. You have just 1 minute to ask your question, and you can throw your question to any of our panelists. So you have just 1 minute. iPhone 22, if you're available, please ask your question. All right, I think his hand is down.
While we are waiting for iPhone 22, please, Chidera, 1 minute.
All right, sir, please go ahead.
Questions about allocation, and let me also address that as a major concern. I've presented this at the last meeting. We are very much practical as this project should be. However, please, whatever you notice that is not going right, call us to attention immediately. Now, for allocation, we've explained that these trees are rain-loving crops. It can only be planted, especially in the volume that we are doing, during the rainy season alone. You plant it off the rainy season, the trees will not survive. You're going to die. You're going to lose money. And that is why we take advantage of April to all the rainy windows to plant. And so every subscription that have come in, we collate and then we plant within this window. And we can make bold to say, I'm presenting to a large number of people, that there is no one who has subscribed to this project and has spent 12 months, 1 year, and has not been allocated. However, we know that a lot of allocations are pending that are supposed to be done, and we have given you our words. But for every pending allocation, especially those who have finished their payments earlier the year, 2-3 months ago, we have collected all this, and allocation has started since April. So the last batches of allocation will come, and we will conclude all the pending allocation between August and September 2025. And we are very much assuring you that the trees don't start growing when they are planted on your land. The trees start growing from the nurseries. And so either you are allocated physically when you have completed payments or not, your trees are already growing. So we move your trees to plant them, they are culturized with the soil, and then they spring. And that's why you have, I'll share videos with us. We have trees already even fruiting from the nurseries. That's the wonder of the Tenera breed. Trees already having fruits from their nurseries. So we raise the nurseries and then we move the nurseries to plantation. So please, I am pleading with you, every one of us who are awaiting allocation, in my capacity, I'm pleading with you that you will be duly allocated between August and September. Chidera, mute your mic. You will be duly allocated between August and September. And for those of us who are rushing to payments now, we can also still reschedule you. And we know that before the year runs to an end, before the rainy season comes to an end, most of us who have paid up will have been duly allocated. Thank you so much for allowing me to say that. Thank you. You can go ahead, Chidera.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for that. So iPhone 22, if you're on now, we'll take your question. Okay, I think iPhone 22 has his hand down now. So iPhone, if you're on, please, you can ask your question. All right, I think iPhone also is not available. Jay, can we have your question? Jay. All right, great. Please
Hello,
go ahead.
good evening.
Go ahead, sir. Good evening, sir.
Please, in Nigeria, living in diaspora, and I would like to ask a question because I was on the meeting initially and I heard the CEO, I think, saying that it's practically impossible to buy land with different name or like different people coming together to buy land according to the government of Nigeria or whatsoever. So I want to ask, in the situation whereby I am buying a property in the name of my child who is not up to 18 yet, is that possible? This is my first question, please.
That's a very technical question. Yes, it is possible. However, you have to put the name of the child in the documents because you don't need to. I mean, for now, I don't know about, but as a date, there is no biometrics that are required for your land survey registration or C of O right now. I don't know of that right now. So if your child's name is Rotimi or Jamamwe, please, you can adopt me as your child and just put my name on that document, even if I'm 8 years old. And when I keep growing, I remain that name. And in the future, I can claim that land. Now, before people can buy land and say Mr. and Mrs., but we've seen a lot of court cases, nullifying, the barrister is our barrister is live. She can speak to that also. So now, if you're buying it on a child, if you have 4 children, don't say I'm buying this land for Showore, Aladuni, and combine all of their name on the land. It will not be accepted. Let it be individual according to it. However, another option you can do is to create an entity. You can register a company in the name of your children and then make them own shares in that company, and then that company own the land. Thank you.
Okay,
All
this
right,
is my second question.
Okay.
My second question, please. I'm also married to a foreigner as well. And you know, some of us, we know the family we are coming from. So I personally am speaking for myself. I am buying properties in such a way that I want to secure my assets for my wife and for my children, because I do not want a situation whereby tomorrow when I close my eyes, my family are fighting over the properties I have suffered with my partner to acquire. So a situation whereby I'm also married to a foreigner and I am buying properties and I am putting it in her name. Is there any problem to that? Is it okay?
Thank you. Barrister Tosin, are you on? Are you live?
Good evening, sir. I'm live, sir.
Please respond to that question, please. It's beyond my pay grade. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You can actually get a property in the name of your wife, but the implication is it is your wife that owns that property because it is going to be in her name. Also, you can also buy a property in the name of your children. The age does not matter, but the implication is the property belongs to the child. That's just the legal implication of all of this. Whoever's name is on the property is the owner of the property. So it means in the future, you can't come back and say, unless your wife is not aware and you came back to meet the company that you want to change the name for whatever reason to your name. But as long as it is your wife's name that is on the property, the implication is it belongs to your wife. It means you got it for her. She's the owner. Same thing applies to your child or your children.
Thank you, Barrister.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You can buy properties. You love your family. I can see that. You can buy properties in your own name and then put it in your will document who you are willing to transfer them to. It's simple. So to avoid every contention, buy them in your name. Then let your will spell it out, who you are portioning the different properties to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, question wrap, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. J, for those very intelligent questions. I'm sure a lot of us on here have also learned from that. So we can have Mr. Kabiru or Lasupo. Mr. Kabiru or Lasupo, you can unmute and ask your question.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for this opportunity.
Sir.
I hope you are hearing
me.
You,
sir.
Very loud and clear, Nigeria, but currently I'm holidaying in Canada. Asset rise have been on my trail for more than 3 months, but I'm being careful in making a decision. You know why? Because I've burnt my fingers in this type of pool fund in the past. One guy came to us like this one, told us that he want to do rice plantation. Everything is good on paper. I invested 53 million.
Wow.
The guy is nowhere to be found, and his case is now with EFCC. I'm an investment banker, a treasurer. I deal in money market. I've traded stock, I've traded money market, and I've done FX. My problem with this investment is, one, you are putting your money down on an investment, and you are telling me that I will start getting return at the end of 4 years. I don't know. There is something missing in that link, because I know that if I invest 100 million, it's not that 100 million that you guys are going to put on plantation immediately. You are not going to utilize that 100 million immediately. Probably you are going to invest it somewhere that is going to giving you income. I'm being factual, and with my background, I'm not discouraging anybody that want to do it, but I want to tell you, my church mind is telling me that 100 million, you are not going to use it on plantation almost immediately. What is going to happen to whatever you get from your investment before the actual implementation? There is a gap between 1 year and 4 years. You understand? I want you to look at that.
Understood. Let's answer it because of time. Thank you. I mean, and that's why we said we earlier noted that this platform is for very high intellectuals like you who understand what they're doing. And let's take it one after the other. Number one, Palmrich model is not a pool of funds. We are not crowdfunding. That is not the model. We're not telling people, bring your money, we will invest it on your behalf and pay you XYZ return. If that is what you hear from anyone, please don't drop your dime on the project. And we have emphasized again and again, this is not a debt model. Number two, your ROI does not start when the palm trees start fruiting. Your ROI starts from the day you own the land. And I'll tell you why. I'm very sure that Mr. Olashukwu has bought several real estate properties. You are a very well vested investor, and I know you have some portfolio in real estate. The land that you bought, the land may not be paying you naira and kobo now, but it does not mean that you are not earning from the land, because your ROI is not just on the land. It's not just the cash that comes. It comes even from the appreciation that's not happening on the land. And I'll give you a clear example with our Ekpe. Mr. Shagun Adiribe is live here, and he has several of his club members who are vested in this project. And I know last year, one of his club members sold some plots of his land. He bought it for 700,000, and he sold about 3 plots from his 10 plots from minimum of, I think, 3 million. Mr. Shagun, please, are you here? It sold for a minimum of 3 million per plot. And that was last year. The project started in 2022. For an investor, is that a return? That is a high return. From 700,000 in 2-3 years, selling it at 3 million per plot, because he needed funds and he needed to cash out. And then we had enough people who are waiting because that place already started fruiting. So it is clear that your return does not start when your palm trees start fruiting. Your return starts immediately with start development on the land. I'll give you another scenario. We sold out the Palmrich Zone A of Ewekoro 3 months ago, and we sold out at about 450 or 500,000 per plot, though we sold in acres. And as at 2 months of last month, we have people who are willing to buy off from willing seller at 850,000 per plot, because that entire place is already planted. And we told the investors, if you are willing to sell, please come up and sell. So land is a value that you can trade, and then its appreciation is
Mr. Ojama Moye.
Please,
Mr. Ojama,
can you let him speak?
That's the question.
Thank you very much, sir.
So the third question, investing somewhere. You invested on rice. We have majorly sounded some warnings in this project. Agriculture is vast. Palm tree is not the only major thing you can invest on. You can decide to invest on on plantain, pepper, whatever. However, you should consider your risk in investment. So what happens if fires enter your rice farm? That is the end. What happens if birds destroy your farm? That's the end. So it may not be that the person who told you to bring his phone to invest in rice want to dupe you. I have seen a lot of agri-businesses that have failed, even personal agri-businesses from people who did not put their money in the hand of a third party that has failed. And it failed because of risk. You have poultry farms that are shutting down in numbers because feed goes expensive and they can't feed the birds, and the birds will die. It is agri. So imagine if you have collected, the person collected your money to invest in rice, and then the risk portfolio is high. So, but we are saying that with pantry, the risk is minimal. We're not saying there is no risk, but the risk is minimal. But also have the understanding that the first thing you are investing here is your land. And then it comes to the pantries that start fruiting from the third year. And when you even talk about returns from the third year, I am also sure that as a structured investment person and as an investment banker, you have diverse portfolio of investment. You have the short-term investments, you have the long-term investment. If you are making long-term investment, you wait for a long term. And I'm sure if you are waiting for 3 years for an investment that can pay you for over 30, 40 years, take the portfolio of Okumu, for example, and tell them that the ROI is not good enough because after they waited for 3 years and 40 years counting, they are still making ROI in billions of naira. So these are the different cases that we must examine when we are coming into agriculture. We are not saying our model is perfect. Every investor has the right to put their funds in different portfolios, but we are saying to you that the pantry and the land ownership model have some level of assurance. And in terms of ROI, your ROI is not just dependent on the pantry, it is also dependent on the land. You have asked a very brilliant question, sir. I mean, one of the most brilliant questions tonight, because a lot of persons have come to us that, oh, why do we start earning from the third year? It is not a crowdfunding. The only source of we having money to pay you, I mean, don't even say we're having money to pay you. The only source of money that pays you is the production from the oil palm. It is not crowdfunding in any way. So not until the pantry starts fruiting, you don't earn. And for those who have bought Ibadan, it is clear. You bought into an already fruiting tree and you start earning from that same year. And then if you want to intercrop in your plantation, you and earn from the first year, you then diversify into maybe you want to do yam, you want to do cassava, and you have a wider window of other things that you can do with your land so you can start earning money. Now the notion that, oh, the money is put into other instruments, sir, you can break this down. If you are buying a plot of land for 2.4 million, where per acre, that's 6 plots, where in Nigeria can you get such land? And after getting the land, you have to consider that all the trees that we are planting, they are grown and they are paid for. One of our major grower is the Otupa Oil Palm PLC. And those seedlings from NIFO, they are expensive. So by the time you put all this into consideration, you will also see in a larger way that every money that you pay are reinvested into the project. 1, your land is bought. 2, every plantation process, fertilizer, the trees, the people planting it, everything is paid over time. So these are all cost elements that come on the projects that you are paying for. Thank you so much, Mr. Olashipo, and we appreciate you for that light in your question.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We can take Rosaline. Rosaline, please, you can unmute and ask your question very quickly. Okay, we can take Ola Bosse. Ola Bosse, please, you can unmute and ask your question.
We want to collect people that are contributed so far, the register member on one Excel sheet, register number, savings, we want to do that sheet. So we're getting the secretary to talk to the group members so we see transparently where we are, how the contributions so far, and what we contributed for. So once that one comes up, that issue of flyer, banner, whatever, we can give that on the line and send it to major of us for able to that plan. Because just like President said, our group is very I want to be a lot of people are wonderful. So we want to peruse everything as well as just mentioned. And for them, they want to peruse everything. And even that there's no interest. There's no interest because you want to ask. Let's all hands together. Let's start with innovation. And if possible, like I suggest as a group, while we are having some personal, as you know, last day before when those people came, they didn't have that money. To announce them, okay, people will be more, apart from on the platform, more on that day, there was all that what going on here on the very start. So if we can try all down to December, arrange something like that, probably in the end of probably October first year. So we can try to do something. Just for cooperation, then that I mean, you keep on wow is an avenue. You know, from there, you know that talking about it carry account the effective. It's like presentation for you know, very long way.
I think someone is speaking. Your mic is very loud. So can you just help us mute your mic? So sorry about that. We can have Mr. Akinfewa now. You can unmute and ask your question, please.
Thank you so very much. My name is Akinfewa, as I've mentioned.
Thank you very much.
Sincerely, I appreciate this meeting and all that have been said. Number one, like the first person spoke, I also invested in a lot of things, and it's like Nigeria today, you are afraid to put your money in anything. One of the things I want to ask, sir, like recently, about 2-3 years ago, I got about 7 plots of land. 7 acres. And they said they were going to plant a plantation. It was like, just bring money, want to clear, bring money, bring this one, bring that one. And I stopped. Those lands are still there. So I don't know if this company can take over, look at it, take over, and then look at what they can do there. Secondly, I was asking, what is the minimum acre that you can invest on?
Thank you. The question is clear. Let me say again that it's always a sorry, a very sad case with a lot of investment going wrong. And we are not claiming the saints, but it's almost all the same story from abroad to Nigeria to everywhere. However, my simple advice to most of us is that for every instrument that you are invested in, you have done even personal investment that has failed before, not even giving anybody your money. Risk is a major consideration. Involve lawyers, involve investment bankers, involve people who can analyze risk for you before investing into any venture. It is very, very important. It's very, very important that you understand the risk of the portfolio. So I want to take it up from the question. What is the risk in investing in plantain? It is a very profitable business. However, you need to mind the risk. So I have seen several persons who have come to me to say, oh, this plantation, we have invested millions and it's not working. Number one, wind is a major problem. The palm trees the plantain carry heavy bunches, heavy wind blow, they all fall down, you lose a lot of money. And other risk that can come with it. So we are not saying the palm tree is the only investment or the only agri investment that you can do successfully. There are people who are investing in poultry and it's big. Fortuna egg is one of the massive poultry in the West here. A lot of people are doing a lot of agri that is big. However, please, so that we stop this narrative of, it's highly threatening everywhere in the world. I give my money to this, it failed. Pepper and every other thing. So risk is a major important thing. Then to your question about if we can take over the 7 acres, the minimum we can work on is 50 hectares and above. And I've explained that the size of your plantation matters to your profitability. Because if you are going to do a plantation that is very profitable, you have to consider milling operation. And you invest in a mill that can extract enough oil for you so you don't lose more money. Yes, you say a lot of villagers have just 1 acre, 2 acres, 3 acres. You can ask them how much are they making in terms of the real value that they should be making. They are losing a lot of oil. And that's why we will not advise you to set up an entire palm plantation for lower volume, because you will invest in milling, you will invest in operations. The same operation that will cover 7 acres can cover even 20 or more acres. So if you have capacity to expand that plantation and you do oil palm, fine. But if you don't mind, I just want to do my 7 acres, I don't want to keep the land fallow, and I just want the palm trees to be there and generating whatever I can generate. I'm not keen on making too much profit. Yes, we can get you nurseries and set up the farm for you, and get someone to manage it. We will take you through all the process to get it set up, so that we are not totally saying no because it's not volume we cannot support. If you have such, you can do that in a scale that you can do it with. So thank you. That's the best I can say on that now.
Thank you very much. So we take one last question and we can call it for a night, then have the closing from our speakers. Then we move on to other announcements. So Zion, I can see Zion, you have your hands raised. Please, you can unmute and ask your question now. All right, Zion is not available. We can take Ola. All right, great. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. My question is very simple. I saw this Ilu Asheyori. I'm seeing some prices, and then the other one on Ilaro. I saw that there's difference in price. I just want to know what's the difference between these two places. Is it just location or development, or what? For 10 hectares.
Thank you
Do you
so
get
much,
my question?
Very loud.
Yes, ma. Your question is very good.
So, in Ilu Asheyori, we have so we've started this project in years now, and then we've seen how much value we want to create from the land ownership part, and then we decided to create agro smart cities, not just oil palm farms. So the agro smart city, we have one that is currently successful and growing, which is the Palm Fortune City in Ado-Water, and that has 5 districts. It has the palm plantation district, the residential district, the agro boulevard district, the agro tourism district, and then the commercial district. Why the agro smart city? We want a city where people can live, play, and work, and their source of revenue is from agriculture, and that will affect massively the value of the land. So for the agro smart cities, we fence them round. No matter the size, we fence them because we develop it as an estate. It is structured with infrastructures like an estate, like you are having a GRA. And the value of this the Palmrich Estate that is inside the agro smart city appreciate faster than the new one that we are introducing now, which is the Palmrich Farm. The Palmrich Farm is same as oil palm plantation as the Palmrich Estate. The only difference is that the Palmrich Estate is inside an agro smart city. It's a full city development, while the Palmrich Farm is just a farm model. Like you have the oil palm PLC, you have the large farm, Okumu have a large farm. So what is the major difference for investors? If you want to scale your oil palm plantation ownership, you want to do 10 hectares, you want to do 50 hectares, you want to do 100 hectares, you can then decide, do I want it to be in the Palmrich Estate, which is in an agro smart city, because I want my land value to skyrocket, or I just want it to be in the normal farm model? Don't forget that both model, you own the land. There is land, your investment is tied to land ownership. Both model, you have palm trees planted on your land. The only difference is that the Palmrich Estate in Ilu Asheyori and in Palm Fortune City, which are agro smart city model, have higher tendency for more appreciation. So for example, if you come to both Palm Fortune City now and agro smart city, you will see well over 2 kilometers of fencing. You will see well-structured gatehouse. You will see a lot of estate development going on there. Unlike the Palmrich Farm, we are not going to be doing perimeter fencing with block. However, there will be security measures, which is not like the Palmrich Estate. The Palmrich Farm is also as 100% secured. The only reason why we are introducing the Palmrich Farm is that some of our investors want to scale the volume of their Palmrich Farm, and they don't want to pay as much as it being in an agro smart city. So if you want to scale and you don't want it to be in the agro smart city, and you want it to be in the Palmrich Farm, you'll be paying less. So the Palmrich Farm is 2.4 million naira all inclusive. Your land, your palm plantation, all you are paying is 2.4 million per acre. And for an hectare, for 10 hectares, you are paying about 58 million thereabouts. But for the Palmrich Estates, your 10 hectares is about 98 million at discounted price. And the difference is because for the Palmrich Farm, you will pay for development fees, which covers perimeter fencing, block fencing. In the Palmrich Estate, for the Palmrich Estate, you pay for perimeter fencing, which will block. You pay for other amenities that we are developing, which covers development. But in the Palmrich Farm, because we are not going to be doing block perimeter fencing, that cost has been taken off, and that's you can expand into whatever volume that you want to do. So those are the two. Those are the major difference between the Palmrich Farm model and the Palmrich Estate. So we are saying to investors who want to scale their investment, you can take an option. Do I want to scale my investment because I want more appreciation on land? I want to own land that can appreciate faster, or I just want to own a farm and own more oil palm plantation that can give me more revenue from palm oil. Don't forget, you are going to get the same revenue at both edges from palm oil. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I think that was the last question we have on our live. So I'm very glad that we've come to the end of today's program. But before we go, would there be any other remarks or comments from any of our panelists? Mr. Rotimi, would you like to say anything to close up before we move to the person that will speak last? Mr. Shegu and Mr. Kunle, would there be any other thing you'd like to add to what has already been said? Questions or comments? All right. So if
Mr.
you have
Kanu,
no more questions.
Okay, let me add this, Chidera, to say that we appreciate everyone who turned out to listen to us this evening. Why are we doing what we are doing? We want you to be in the project and make informed decisions. You are not buying what anybody is saying to you and coloring. You are buying what you understood the project to be. And that's why we take a lot of time to host programs like this so we can educate our partners on what we are doing before they commit their resources. And we appreciate your time and we beg with you. This has gone beyond growing a palm plantation farm. One of the major areas where we got a partnership from at the House of Lords is the fact that this project is solving climate change. We are planting economic trees that will support the ozone layer. Number two, our Palmrich Estate in Ekpe precisely is currently the biggest farm in Lagos State, and we have grown millions of yams from the Palmrich farm, which is supporting the drive drive for food security nationally. So, and consider the numbers of persons that we are also being able to employ by these projects. Consider the number of persons that this project is able to, put food on their table. So you are creating jobs for a lot of Nigerians by you having an understanding of what to do in palm plantation. You are solving a major problem with the climate by planting economic trees that can support the ozone layer. Most of us fly every time. We fly from Nigeria to London, to UK, to Dubai, to everywhere. The ozone layer must be a concern to you. It must be a concern to you because you don't want your flight to be disrupted, aren't? So we must plant trees that will support the climate and majorly security. A safe nation is a nation where people are employed. A safe nation is a nation where people can eat before going to bed. And this is a major call out for everyone that we are not doing this because we know everything. Partner with us to do this right. You are free to come to the office every time. You are free to call us up and make sure that we are getting it right. And every time you sense anything that is not right, please reach out to us and let us provide a lasting solution to that immediately. Because our mantra is that we must build this as a sustainable movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. So I'll move on to the last person who's going to speak to us today, Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris will be giving us all the current estates running, the prices, and also offers available for each and every one of these locations, how you can come in on the project, and every other necessary information. Also, he'll be giving us more information about inspection. So I saw a lot of questions saying, can we see the site? Yes, we can. You can definitely see the site before you make a decision. And he'll be giving us all the necessary information on dates, time, takeoff time, and all the necessary other information that we need. So, Mr. Chris, if you're on, we'd love to take you now. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And a good evening once more. Thank you for staying till this time. Very quickly, I'll run through the information you need. For inspections, we have inspections every week. Inspection to phase 7, Ado Daughter, takes place every Thursday, while inspection to the phase 8 in Iwekoro takes place every Wednesday. First to third Wednesdays of the month and first to third Thursdays of the month, we go to those two estates. And then the last Thursday of every month, we go to Ibadan for inspection, last Thursday of every month. And the last Saturday of every month, we go to both Iwekoro, the phase 8 and the phase 7 in Ado Water. And our departure time is 9 a.m. Get to the office before 9 a.m. so we can leave at 9 a.m. Then also, we can pick you up. The meeting point is at office. Office location is plot 775, Shomide Odujinri Avenue, right here in Olora, just very close to Bega. So we meet in the office, or we can pick you at designated bus stops along the route to those estates. We can pick you up. You don't need to come to the office. For instance, if you live in Abulegba, if you live in Songo, you don't need to get to the office. We can pick you up from any designated bus stop, take you to the site, and bring you back also. Then there's an announcement for those on the tribe and even our new prospects concerning the 10-hectare offer. I'm going to read the names of all the estates, but just before then, we be informed that there is a waiting list for the tribe members who want to upgrade to 10 hectares. The same for our prospect. If you want to upgrade, you can get in touch with our numbers on 0802 324 4444. You can call Chioma or message Chioma on 0802 324 4444. The number is also on the chat box. You can get the number. But what I also want to say, whatever you want to do, please reach out to your consultant and carry them along so that they are informed of your transactions. Our consultants are our valuable partners and we cherish them so much. Make sure you get in touch with whoever invited you, our consultant and partners, so that they can be aware of all your transactions. Then finally, all the locations of our estates, the estates that are still selling, phase 5, Palmrich Estate phase 5, located along the Iwo Road in Ibadan, is selling for 5 million naira per plot, while the estates in the phase 7, Palmrich Estate phase 7, is selling for 1,625,000 naira for one plot, 9,250,000 for 1 acre, and 22 million plus for the hectare. And that price is all inclusive of statutory fees. We go to the phase 8. The phase 8 is not selling in plots, it's selling only in acres and hectares. The phase 8, which is located in the Ilu Agro Smart City, is selling for 4.3 million naira for the acre and 10.6 million naira for the hectare. While the Palmrich farm, which is newly introduced, is selling for 2.4 million naira for the acre and for 5,850,000 for the hectare. Now for the 10-hectare offer, we have a very, very large discounted price. So you can scale up your ownership, whether you are buying new or you are upgrading. The offer is there. The first offer for the farm, there's no discount on the farm because the farm is heavily discounted. So, but with 57,600,000, you can acquire a 10-hectare expanse of Palmrich Estate that comes with insurance cover for your estate. And then on the phase 8 estate in Onigbedu, Ewekoro local government area, there's a special offer for the 10 hectare. Instead of 106 million naira for 10 hectares, remember I said 1 hectare is 10.6 million. Instead of 106, if you are buying afresh, we will give you at 98.5 million naira with a bank guarantee attached to it, personalized insurance and personalized documentation. That means you have a private estate within our estate. We'll do private personal documents for you, and with the bank guarantee, it means that when you make an initial deposit, we will process the documents and the insurance and hand over to you. Then for the tribe members, those of you who are already our esteemed partners and landowners in the Palmrich estates, instead of 106, instead of 98.5 million naira, with just 79.5 million naira, you can buy a 10 acre, you can own a 10 hectare in the Palmrich Estate phase 8. And finally, again, once more, do reach out to your consultant so that they can know of all your transactions with Asset Rise. Thank you very much. It's been a very engaging time. Over to you, Chidera.
Hello, please. Can I quickly ask this question?
Okay, ma.
All right, thank you. I was brought in here. Now I'm a tribe. I'm a member of the tribe.
Yes,
what if I want to bring people? What's my gain? If I also want to bring people to come and
as a tribe member, you know, we said we cherish all our tribe members. So there's a special 10% discount of any product you want to buy as a tribe member. So as if you want to buy another estate, you have a 10% discount. It's yours. Apart, it does not apply to the farm anyway, but you have a 10% discount. So, but if you want to use, you can use it in 3 ways. You can use it to buy by yourself. You can introduce somebody to buy without giving the person a discount. Then you can request for a cashback. And then also, you can use the 10% discount to give to somebody to buy the product. Then you don't have a cashback to request for. And then you earn points from all your referrals. We celebrate you for referring. You earn points that when you accumulate those points, you can get several benefits like medical checkup, like special special use of special lounges in some airports. So the package is there on the tribe. I'm sure that the manager of the tribe will repost those information so that you can get it. So, but that is what we have for the tribe members. As a tribe member, you have a standing 10% discount. However, we also want to apologize and beg you that it does not apply to the farm, because the farm is heavily discounted. If you see the difference in the prices, you would know that it's heavily discounted. Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good
I don't
evening.
know if you can hear me. Okay, a quick one. Okay, so quickly, I quickly want to speak to the 2.4 million cost. You know,
Okay.
so for which phase of the project are we speaking to, and what does the scope that this 2.4 million covers? Is it both the land and the farming?
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. The 2.4 million covers 1 acre of the Palmrich land. When you subscribe for a Palmrich land, you don't pay for the seedling, you don't pay for the planting, you don't pay for the nurturing for 3 years. So when you pay the 2.4 million naira, we will give you a 1 acre, that's 6 plots of land with palm trees on it, and nurture it for you until it starts fruiting. So you are covered on every count. Your documentation is already included in the 2.4 million naira.
Okay, so what phase of the project is this, and which area?
Here is located along Asoilobi Road in Onigbedu. It's actually a little close to the phase 8. It's not a phase 9, but it's a Palmrich farm. This is the first of the farm we are having. The other Palmrich estates, they are located inside the agro smart city, like the GMD explained. But this one is a pure farm, and it's located almost in the same environment, with just a different location.
Okay, so which means this does not have a project title name. It's just a farm in its own that does not have, like I said, a project title name, just like the other ones that you have. The
Yes,
Palmrich.
we just called it Palmrich Farm so that we can separate it from the Palmrich Estate. If not, we would have called it like a phase 9, but we call it a Palmrich Farm so that people who want to get at the lower price can also get into the project, and then those who want to buy in large quantities can also scale up their ownership.
So that's basically the difference.
Yeah, that's basically the difference. The other model leans more on both the land appreciation and the income from the palm trees. But this one, the land appreciation will be slower because the other components of the agro smart city, which makes it an integrated estate or is integrated city, does not apply. So the Palmrich farm is on its own, while the Palmrich estate in the other agro smart cities are located with other integrated districts.
Okay, so how much is the phase 8 currently? At the minimum, you
Phase 8 is 4.3 million naira for the minimum quantity. That's the 1 acre, and it's all inclusive.
Okay, so that one falls under the Palmrich estate, right?
Yes, it falls inside. It's inside the Ilu Ashiori Agro Smart City.
Okay, so the installment payment is,
yes,
I'm just joining. So if I make an installment, if I make an initial deposit of maybe probably say 2.8 million, then the remaining installment, how would it look like? Because I'm looking at the case whereby I make such an investment, then I should expect that certain documentations, should be given to me, at least for purpose of at least to provide some form of confidence for me that I have a contract existing with the business.
Okay. Okay. When you make that deposit, we will give you a receipt, first of all, to acknowledge the receipt of your payment, and we'll give you an invoice to show the total payment. Also, we will give you a contract of sale. That means we have a document that shows that there is a transaction between both of us. So you receive the contract of sale, you sign it, and send us the acknowledgement page back to us. Then when your payment is completed, we will give you all the title documents that you are entitled to get. That is the deed of assignment, the survey in your name, the overall documentation for the whole estate, and then an allocation letter.
So the installmental payment.
Yes, after your depot, how long do you want? If you want 0 to 3 months, you don't need any. It doesn't come with any attached interest. But if you are going to spread the balance for up to 6 months, you just charge you a little interest. For like 10, it's just 10% of your land cost, and then if you are spreading for 12 months, it's another 20%. So the lower the time you pay up, the better for you, the cheaper.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We'll expect to follow up on you. So over to you, Chidera. Thank you very much, everyone, for staying this long. It's been a very, very beautiful day with you. Chidera.
Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate the information that you have just given to us. And let me use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to each and every one of us. Also, very, very big thank you to our panelists that we had on today. They gave us an in-depth knowledge into the project and also what we should look out for as investors into any kind of investment at all, because this was a general knowledge about investment as a whole. So I want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of us. Thank you for taking out the time to be here. Thank you for staying on for this long. And I'm sure that moving forward, we're going to be making very sustainable decisions. Thank you very, very much, each and every one of us, and let us all have a great night. Thank you very much.